My gosh. Today we're going to watch Trump on Meet the Press. He said some things that have caused quite the controversy. And he said some things that I know Adam liked and he wants
hmm
me to react to because I only watched about 20 to 30 minutes of the interview. So
There's
very
a
interesting.
narrative playing in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Like the
Oh, what's
mystery,
that?
the storyline for me is Trump going to be a transformational president like FDR,
Right.
or is it just going to be like a full shit show like it was his first term? Okay.
Right,
So
right.
that's got me hooked. You said
Mm.
you watched 20 minutes of this. Like I saw some clips on Twitter and I immediately went to it and watched the whole thing. Like I thought it was just completely fascinating because I think the press has kind of maybe turned a corner. Well, I'm not sure. They I I believe they talk about healthcare in here. So the press is doing their normal thing, going after all of Trump's nominees viciously and I feel unfairly. So we'll see.
Well,
Maybe we've turned the corner, maybe we haven't.
some unfairly, some completely fairly.
Yeah, yeah. Look, if we're talking about Matt Gaetz, the thing is that Marty, I can never remember his last name, but the doctor who wrote
Right.
The
Yeah, that's
Price We
unfair. I agree.
Pay. Yeah, look, I read his book, and the guy, like that book is completely nonpartisan, and the guy is talking about the American citizens are overpaying for health care because they're being gouged by hospitals and insurance companies. Like it's a message tailored for the working class. And then you have all these articles coming out about how the guy's fucking crazy and like a vaccine denier and shit. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
get the fuck out of here. Oh my God.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. They're gonna go after they're gonna try to go after everyone, and it's like, okay, if the person doesn't deserve to be gone after, then the
Y-
article's gonna be like crappy. But if the person does, then you're like, oh, okay, that was a fine article. So it's kind of like
Right.
it's like
Right.
they're just gonna
Yeah.
automatically go in a direction, and it's just coincidence or chance if they get it right or not.
Yeah, totally. That's the shitty part, right?
Right.
There's nothing in that book, The Price We Pay, and I haven't started reading it yet, but I just got his new book that was just came out in 2024. There's nothing in his original book that I read that anyone on the left would object to.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing that they could object to. Like it's all about fucking greedy corporations robbing people. That's basically what it is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't, it's like Trump appointing that guy should be a huge signal to people that, oh my God, like he could do some good, but they can't see past the partisan blinders. So
Right. Right.
we'll see, but that's the storyline. Look, that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking for. What is your storyline? What
No,
is
that
your
is. I mean, you're
narrative?
right. That is the storyline. That's be extra interesting to us specifically. Is Trump going to be the unity, hope, and change Obama 2.0 candidate, or is he going to be the revenge, vindictive candidate who's going to be going after everyone?
So did you get?
Which I
Yeah.
did get to
Okay.
that part in the interview where that
Okay. Good.
question is directly asked. So we will see that answer when it comes up because it is interesting.
hmm
But before we jump
That's what
into
everyone wants. Everyone wants to see your reaction to that answer.
right, right, right. But before we jump into that, I wanted to point out two tweets that I saw today. One
hmm
was from a friend of the show, Rudyard. What if alt hissed? He had a banger of a tweet here. So you could see Kyle Kalinske kind of crazily again because he seems to continually support, killing CEOs of medical insurance companies. He posted this picture that showed like the guy shooting the CEO and it says murder, and then he posts, and then underneath it, it shows the CEO sitting on a pile of money denying, you know, healthcare to someone, and they are dying, and it also says also murder, right?
Right.
And so, what if all his said, "This is such a ridiculously dangerous social precedent to set as a public figure. You guys know how fucked this is, right? This will immediately be used to justify the murder of other public figures if they don't conform to your in-group's morality. That's gonna get really, really ugly. I'm very careful since this kind of stuff, since it could very easily be used to rationalize murdering me in the near future. There are entire websites dedicated to stalking and harassing me already." And then he also said, "How is this
Wow,
guy
that's fucking
here?"
scary.
And he also said, "How is this guy here fucking stupid enough not to realize he just dropped a gun on the table that could kill him?" And that's, I mean, that's 100% correct. It's 100% correct. Because then I saw this stupid comic that Kyle put up here. The first thing I thought of is you could have this exact comic with someone who, does a terrorist action and kills an abortion doctor, right?
Yeah.
Like the literal exact same comic, and be like, "Well, they're killing babies, so it justifies me killing the abortion doctor."
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just
Or
it
someone
is
killing an atheist.
right or whatever. Yeah, insert whatever you want. So, but mad props, good points, big ups to What If All Hissed. It's so completely correct take on this one.
Yeah.
And Kyle's kind of
Kyle's like,
just
I'm one of the good ones, though.
yeah,
I'm a
he's
good person. The one here
completely crazy on
advocating
it.
for violence.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the good one.
I know.
Scary. Why? What happened? Kyle is fucking unhinged on Twitter. Holy shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's what you were saying because yeah, he had a family member, his father. I think he said he blames health insurance or something for his passing. So I guess I don't know if that's what's made him unhinged specifically on this issue or if it's something else. And then the other thing that someone sent me, well, first I don't remember who it was, but thank you for sending this to me. There is this chart that I see. Now I haven't been able to find the, or I haven't been able to look through because it's in the tweet. I haven't been able to look through the data yet exactly, but I am curious about this. This is from the Manhattan Institute. Now the Manhattan Institute is, I believe, like right wing, but they do have this chart from some polling that they did. This is from June of 20, or sorry, July of 2024. And if this is true, I mean, this is great news. It says, which approach do you prefer for addressing racial inequality? And the blue bars are people that said we should focus on creating race conscious societies to repair the harm of the past by developing policies that benefit marginalized groups. The gray is not sure. And the red is we should focus on creating a colorblind society where everyone is treated equally, regardless of the color of their skin. And as you can see from uh, this graph, every group responded overwhelmingly to the we should focus on creating a colorblind society. So if this is correct, if this polling data is correct, then this is great news, ultra based, and definitely very good for the direction of the country.
College, non college, independent, Democrat, Republican, black, other, white, Latinos. Look, no Latinx. Male, female,
Right.
age 45 to 64, age 65 and up, age 18 to 44. Yeah.
Yes, all groups had the majority. Even the Democrat group, 56% said colorblind, only 36% said race conscious. And then even in college, 28% said race conscious and 65% said colorblind. So definitely looking good if this data is correct.
Yeah. Yeah, it is looking good, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Even the college, even the Democrats.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's good news.
And even the youngins.
We I mean, we're always talking about the far left kind of tricking people into supporting policies that are not colorblind, but they think they're supporting colorblind policies. So,
Right.
and a
Right.
lot of what we've talked about is trying to show people, no, you're not supporting a colorblind policy. You're supporting something completely different. So, these numbers would reflect that. Because there's
Yeah.
probably a lot of people in this red bar on the Democrat side that support something like CRT and have no idea that critical race theory is not a
Oh,
colorblind
I see what you're
policy.
saying. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. Right. But that's fine
Yeah,
too, because that shows that, I mean, it's not great, but it shows that they're not actually true believers. They just don't understand what they're advocating
exactly.
for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is the messaging. That's where we need to be better with messaging.
Right. Right.
So,
Okay.
yeah, cool. No, that's good news. I love it. Thanks for
Oh,
sharing.
also, there was also this weird tweet, and I don't know, maybe we'll watch this video later. Matt Walsh put out a hit piece on Jank. I don't know if you watched it.
Yeah, I heard about that, but I didn't see it.
I did see it, yeah. Um,
Wow.
it was weird because he like kind of, well, maybe it's not weird. It is interesting. He sort of seemed like he was trying to differentiate a little bit between Cenk and Anna. But he was so it
Hmm.
was mostly just attacking Cenk, and he was, basically calling Cenk a grifter and not for people not to trust him and blah 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 blah. And it's funny because it seemed like mostly personal because Cenk had made some incendiary comment recently about Matt Walsh. So it's kind of like it's even kind of like he was saying, "Hey, people on the right, stop butting up to Cenk. Cenk just attacked me. He's a dick." That's how I kind of interpreted a lot of it.
That's
But
hilarious. Yeah.
so I don't know. Maybe we'll watch the video at some point. But and I don't know if it was in response to that. So Russell Brand put out this tweet, and he has this clip of when Anna was on Pierce Morgan, and he said, "Do you see this?" And it was her, talking about our problems with the left and trying to build bridges and everything. And Russell Brand says, "Do you see this as a bit of a maneuvering tactic to stay relevant or a genuine epiphany?" And
Wow.
I mean, obviously, I
Well,
responded. And I said 100% genuine. But it's there were some very positive comments I see from people that were saying, yeah, it's completely genuine. Especially with Anna, because like with Anna, this is been something that's been going on over the last few years. It's not like just the switch flipped. It's not like Morning Joe. They're like, oh, we just went over. Donald Trump won, so we just went over to go talk to him, right?
hmm.
But it is kind of obnoxious. I mean, and I don't know what Russell Brand's motivation is, but it is kind of obnoxious. I think the way he's kind of phrasing the question, maybe he means it innocently, but it's like, he's a person who did a pretty radical flip himself.
I know that's exactly what I was thinking.
Right.
Confession by projection.
Right. I mean, he's a person who was like very far left, who was, basically fucking everything that moves. And now all of a sudden he's like, I found Jesus. And it's like, okay, that's fine, but don't throw stones here. So,
Yeah, that was what my shock was over. I'm like, Russell Brand is the person to levy this,
mhm.
plea for relevance. Yeah, what? Okay.
I mean, listen, maybe it's innocent. Maybe he's setting up. He's gonna have her on at the show or something. So it's just kind of a setup. It's genuine, but we'll see.
I mean, I just like hanging out with you, talking about politics. Like this is a dream scenario for me to be able
Hmm.
to just talk about politics, have a not a huge audience, but a sizable enough audience that we can get feedback from other people. Like the the thirst for relevance it just doesn't kind of figure into my equation on this
Right.
stuff. So when I
Right.
hear somebody say, is this a plea for relevance? It kind of makes me think, well, that's what's on their mind, right?
Yeah, that always happens to some extent, right? I mean,
Right.
so there's a lot of projection that goes on.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, let's jump into this Trump interview. Now, you have it. Is this at a time code you want to watch, or is it
No,
just
I
for the?
just did it for the screen cap.
Okay.
We can go
Okay. So
back to
here,
the beginning.
let me go
And
to.
look, we're gonna fast forward if some of the questions drag and go on to the next question. So
Right. I have
no,
a
let's hear
I
the
have a
intro. I want to
few
see the.
I have a few time codes. If you could jump
Okay.
around, but
Well, let's just do the intro. I want to see the top. I want to see the first sit down. That it's why do they have? It's so weird. I guess they did this so it would be eye level, but it looks like Trump is like sitting in a fucking hole. I'm just like, what?
oh, was when you mean because of like the way his like body's positioned, like he's
Yeah,
kind of like
he's
hunched
got
over a little bit.
terrible posture. Like, look at her. She's like sitting. Where's the green lines? Here's the green line. The green line is Trump leaning in and her
Well, I
sitting
don't know. It's
straight
it's hard
up.
to tell because of the angle of the camera. I can't really tell if she's sitting up completely straight or not. But I mean,
What's up
listen,
with these legs?
I don't got good posture either. So who am I
No, I
to
look,
complain?
I'm terrible posture, but I just a lot of people always think the optics. Is this a presidential? Do presidents sit on this kind of goofy fucking couch?
You're right. This is you know what? You're right because I kind of just listened to it. I didn't really look at it. This is bad optics. They set him up for failure here.
But whatever. Who
Unless
cares?
this is at Mar-a-Lago, then I guess it's Trump's fault.
Yeah,
I
it
don't know
might
where
be.
this
Look,
was.
there's a big conference table right in the
Hmm.
background there. They could easily just sit at the conference table, but anyway.
Well, like I mean, they're probably
Presidential
not enough space
seal
for lighting
behind
and
you.
everything. So
All right, here we go.
President-elect Donald Trump, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Look, they didn't call him Mr. Trump. what the press is always a fan of doing, even though he's an ex-president. So
I mean, they say that about
Miss
Obama a lot too. They say Mr. Obama.
of
I
Fox
don't think that's
News says Mr. Obama.
they all do. I've never bought this complaint.
Really?
Yes,
No,
because I remember seeing it when Obama was
MSNBC
president.
definitely says President Obama.
Oh, maybe. I
I
know when
do notice
Obama
because
was
it gives away the politics of the person saying it.
okay. I know when Obama was president, I remember they were saying like, "Oh, Fox News, they say Mr. Obama, they don't say President Obama." And I was like, "Really? I don't know. I feel like people use it pretty interchangeably." But
Okay.
Thank you so much for being here. You are the first president since Grover Cleveland to win non-consecutive terms. Republicans now have control of the House and the Senate.
Right.
What do you plan to accomplish in your first 100 days in office?
Well, we're going to
Look at that. She starts off just like blowing him up. Dude, you're fucking historical. This is a historical achievement. You're fucking amazing. Don't you think that's blowing him up a little?
sure. I think it's smart.
We watched someone that was saying that they knew how to manipulate Trump because Trump is like a glutton for flattery. So
Right,
if you start off with some flattery, then the next thing you know, he's like buying you a car. So he had a good reaction though. He didn't be like, "Yeah, that's right, bitch."
do something with the border, and very strong, very powerful. That'll be our first signal, and a first signal to America that we're not playing games. We have people coming in by the millions, as you know, and a lot of people shouldn't be here. Most of them shouldn't be here, but we have jails being emptied into our country. We have mental institutions from all over the world being emptied into our country. So we'll be doing that. We're going to be extending within that period, or as soon as we can, the Trump tax cuts, because you know they're coming due and they're very substantial for people, and it would be very, I think it will anger a lot of people, frankly, if we don't get an extension of that. That's what led us to one of the greatest economies ever.
I was watching the Midas Touch. Have you ever watched that channel? It's like a huge left-wing channel, but it's like, I think they have like 3 million subscribers. It's gigantic.
I've seen like one. I don't remember what the even they talked about, but
They were talking about this tax cut situation, and they're fucking such idiots about it because he's talking about extending the tax cuts. Obviously, the ones that expire are the ones for the people, the middle class.
right.
But the corporate ones are permanent. But in that video, he keeps saying, "Look, Trump's first goal is to extend the corporate tax cut." I'm like, "No, dumbass. It's to extend the tax cut for the middle class."
I would
Well,
assume, yeah, that's what the implication means.
yeah, because the corporate tax cut isn't going to expire in 2025, so it's fine.
And those two things are going to be very vital, very important. We're going to be focusing on crime in the cities, and we'll work with Democrat governors. Most of them are, as you know, if you look at the 25 worst places, they're just about all Democrat-controlled cities and states, and we're going to be working with Democrat governors and Democrat mayors, and I look forward to doing it. But we have to do something about crime, and mostly in our cities. And we're going to have a lot of other things. We'll be working on nominations. We're going to still be working on some nominations. I think they're going very well. We have, for the most part, I think they're going extremely well. It looks like Peter's doing well now. I mean, people were a little bit concerned. He's a young guy with a tremendous track record, actually. Went to Princeton and went to Harvard. He was a good student at both, but he loves the military, and I think people are starting to see it. So we'll be working on his nomination along with a lot of others.
We are going to delve into your nominations, but since you bring him up, do you still have confidence in Pete Hegseth?
Yes, I do. I really do. He's a very smart guy. I've known him through Fox, but I've known him for a long time. And he's basically a military guy. I mean, every time I talk to him, all he wants to talk about is the military. He's a military guy. I used to kid him about it. I didn't think he would be in this position where he may be, hopefully will be Secretary of Defense. But every time I was with him, he was fighting for soldiers, where he said some soldier was unjustly put in prison because they were really doing what they were taught to do in some cases. So, yeah, I think...
Yes, this is what I've heard too when I was like reading reporting on his choice, is that whenever he would meet Trump, he would always try to he'd be like really big on soldiers who were, having some kind of legal trouble for, maybe killing a civilian or firing on someone or doing something that they shouldn't have been doing. The article was like kind of it was an interesting article because it was praising him on one hand. It was talking about like how a lot of people that served under him were very supportive of him, and they're saying that he's kind of going to bat for a lot of people that seem like they were innocent, but they're also critical, saying that they thought he had a broad brush of basically just trying to defend everyone, even if it seemed like they're like even the people that were the military people that were on the ground when whatever they did is what they're being charged with, all said that they thought they were guilty. That
Oh,
Pete
wow.
would just still be like very no, just let everyone go kind of attitude about the whole thing.
Hmm. Protect everyone.
Which I mean, that's fine. That's like his issue. It's interesting to me the way that like Trump picks people. It's like, okay, so he talks to this guy. This guy talks a lot to Trump about, the military, even though it's about really specifically like individual soldiers. And somehow that translates into Secretary of Defense. It's like, okay, I guess.
Well, he wants people that he has some kind of relationship with, so he feels he can trust them. Like
Right,
in
right,
his first term, he nominated a bunch of people that the insiders just said, "Oh, this is the guy. This is the guy," and he had
right,
no relationship with them at all, knew nothing about them. So he's super gun shy about doing that again.
right. But that's
And
kind of the
look,
pro.
Bolton,
Right,
like Bolton, Bolton basically was acting president himself. Like he would just do whatever he wanted, whatever Bolton wanted.
right. But that's kind of the issue with Trump, is that it's both like a blessing and a curse. Is that since he's just picking people personal, it's kind of a grab bag of like, okay, if he gets the Marty guy, what's his name? The price you pay
Yeah,
guy.
Marty McKay,
Marty
I think it
McCary.
is.
Yeah. If you got like the Marty McCary guy, like you're like, okay, that's definitely a good choice. He's just picking this guy because he like knows him or has some personal relationship with him or whatever. But then it's like, okay, he's also picking, Pete Saget or Hegseth or Cash Patel or something like Matt Gates. It gets to these like weird, wacky choices. And it's to me, it kind of shows that Trump's circle is too small. Like if these are the people he's picking, he doesn't know enough people to just rely on his personal experience.
Yeah, yeah, of course. And that's this is the where you get into trouble with the loyalty versus meritocracy
Mhm.
scale. Yeah. He's sliding into the loyalty over meritocracy.
Right, right.
Yeah.
There's an interesting article about Tulsi. Maybe we'll talk about that later. She basically, I guess I'll just give you guys a summary. Basically, Tulsi's been meeting with Republican senators to sort of prep for if she's going to be the director of national intelligence, and they were not too impressed with their first meeting with her. It's funny because like,
What happened?
well, it's funny, like the anonymous sources said like, oh, they thought that she was just not remotely prepared to answer serious policy questions at all. And then when you listen to the people that are not anonymous, they're like, oh yeah, she's very good. This is her first showing, so she has a lot of time to grow, right? And that's always like code word for, oh, her first showing didn't do very well. She needs to
She's going to
study.
learn on the job, yeah.
She needs to study before. Well, I think their concern is, I think the Republicans do want to confirm Tulsi Gabbard, but what they don't want is for her to show up at the confirmation hearing and look like a total retard. And then if they confirm her, then that's going to make their reputations bad. They're like, no, you need to like appear to be a competent person when you show up in public.
Yeah. The audience has to like you. They're
Right. Right.
preparing
Well,
her for that.
obviously.
Yeah.
He's going to do fine.
The fact that there are these allegations against him, misconduct, sexual misconduct, heavy drinking, the fact that he said to some senators reportedly he'll stop drinking if he gets this job,
Yeah.
does that worry you?
No, I think that everybody has.
Does that worry you? That'd worry me if someone said, "Oh, if I get the job, I'll stop drinking." That kind of worries me. Not a good
Yeah.
answer.
This guy doesn't I'm not excited about this guy as a pick. And I don't, what is there, why are people excited about him other than that he's just a Trump loyalist?
I I don't know. This is a
I
Fox
don't
News
know
anchor.
anything
He's
about him.
outside the elite, right? So people like
Oh,
that.
okay. That makes sense. Yeah. They're
Mhm.
like, he's an outsider. He's not
He's
a
an outsider. Yeah.
He's not some Washington person. But I mean,
Right.
you could find an outsider. Why wouldn't you go with someone who's squeaky clean? Obviously, the guy seems to have a lot of problems. Like,
They're not sending their finest.
that could blow up in your face, right?
Yeah, I don't think Pete's gonna make it through the confirmation
Okay.
process. But
Everybody has something that they can stop. Some people can stop eating. I'm lucky I'm not a drinker, but I could stop eating. And we all want to stop doing something. And if he said that, I mean, it's a nice thing to say. That's a good thing to say. But he's very respected. I can tell you, I know a lot of the people at Fox, they think he's fantastic. And the people that work with him, really, they love him. So I think you're going to have somebody that's really terrific. And again, all he talked about with me, I said, you know, you're not really a television guy, even though he did very well, as you know. You're really a military guy. He said, I'm all about the military. And I told him, so he's making a lot of money at Fox. They're doing very well. And I said, you know, if for some reason you don't get this thing, you're not going to be able to go back. And all that money you're making, you can kiss it goodbye. He said, this is all about America. You know, he didn't say, well, let me think about it. Let me discuss it. That's a very big.
Let's skip forward a little bit to our
the
next
tariffs part?
question. Yeah.
To lower prices. You are now proposing, but I want to delve into one of your.
A lot of people would say, I have to think about it. He said,
Yes, yeah.
I don't have to think about it.
All right, we're going to delve into
sure,
your cabinet
sure.
picks a little bit later, but I want to delve into one of your signature promises on the campaign trail, which was to end inflation, to lower prices. You are now proposing tariffs against the United States' three biggest trading partners. Economists of all stripes say that ultimately consumers pay the price of tariffs.
I don't believe
Can
it.
you guarantee American families won't pay more?
I can't guarantee anything. I can't guarantee tomorrow. But I can say
Oh, jeez.
His
I'm kind of surprised that's like an easy, like cherry pick quote for them to hit Trump with. I haven't really seen people pick up on that one.
I can't guarantee anything.
Yes.
Well, look, FDR did a bunch of this kind of stuff where he tried a bunch of things and went with what was working and stopped doing what wasn't working because the Great Depression was a situation that you couldn't just like come up with a plan. You don't necessarily know how things are going to work out. So I don't necessarily think that's a bad attitude to go into it with.
No,
A lot of
it's-
these people are saying he's got to like have like every detail of the plan worked out. That's just not how public policy works.
Of course. Yeah. No, it's an
Yeah.
honest answer. I just don't think it's a good answer politically.
Yeah, yeah. It's it is interesting. The tariff guy in that book, he says that Trump was like monomaniacally focused on American jobs, middle class jobs.
Right.
He wants good middle class jobs to come back to America. That was like his chief focus. So
Yeah.
it's just funny that so many people on the left hate this guy, think he's fucking Adolf Hitler, when they don't know he's fixated on the policies that they want on the left. It's
yeah.
so insane.
Well, I think it's because so much of the messaging, like when he's running, I mean, he did talk about, you know, trying to bring back jobs from overseas and everything, but probably like 75% of what he ran on was, you know, they're sending their criminals, they're sending their psychopaths to
Immigration?
America. Immigration, we need to stop the criminals from coming. I mean, even heard when she asked him, what are you going to do in your first 100 days? The first thing he said was, you know, it's funny. The first thing he said was the immigration and tax cut. So those are the first two things he jumped to. So, but yeah,
Well,
I mean, I think that's why people.
the tax cut is a middle class tax cut anyway.
I understand
so
that. I understand
yeah.
that. But yeah, the immigration is always kind of first and foremost.
Yeah, but he even frames that as like an economic issue, though. I kind of disagree with him. I think we'll see how it shakes out. Like sending the criminals back is going to be good for the economy, definitely. But yeah.
Well, he frames it. I think he frames it. He does frame it as economically, but he almost always first and foremost frames it as a crime issue.
Right.
Which makes sense, like politically persuasively, to try to motivate people through fear. So.
Yeah.
Say that if you look at just pre-COVID, we had the greatest economy in the history of our country. And I had a lot of tariffs on a lot of different countries, but in particular China, we took in hundreds of billions of dollars, and we had no inflation. In fact, when I handed it over, they didn't have inflation for a year and a half. They wanted almost 2 years, just based on what I had created. And then they created inflation with energy and with spending too much. So I think we will. I'm a big believer in tariffs. I think tariffs are the most beautiful word. I think they're beautiful. It's going to make us rich. We're subsidizing Canada to the tune of over $100 billion a year. We're subsidizing Mexico for almost $300 billion. We shouldn't be subsidizing. Why are we subsidizing these countries? If we're going to subsidize them, let them become a state. We're subsidizing Mexico, and we're subsidizing Canada, and we're subsidizing many countries all over the world. And all I want to do is I want to have a level, fast, but fair playing field.
Sir, your previous tariffs during your first administration cost Americans some $80 billion. And now you have major companies from Walmart, Black & Decker, AutoZone saying that any tariffs are going to force them to drive up prices for their consumers. How do you make sure that these CEOs, that these companies don't, in fact, pass on the cost of tariffs to their consumers?
They cost Americans nothing. They made a great economy for us. They also solve another problem. If we were going to have problems having to do with wars and having to do with other things, tariffs, I have stopped wars with tariffs by saying, you guys want to fight, it's great, but both of you are going to pay tariffs to the United States at 100%. And they have many purposes, tariffs, if properly used. I don't say you use them like a madman. I say properly used.
It's interesting because, like, the big complaint against the left with the Russia-Ukraine situation was everyone was saying, it doesn't matter. Sanctions don't stop war. Sanctions won't stop war. Sanctions won't stop war. Like, that was the drone beat we heard. And obviously, I mean, it didn't stop Russia from invading or causing them pull out. It's caused economic harm to them, but it didn't stop them.
China is super chapped about all the tariffs. Like in the tariff negotiations,
Oh, I bet.
constantly they would be like, no tariffs. We can't have any tariffs.
Right.
They would agree to a bunch of stuff and then they would come back and say, oh no, we didn't agree. We need all the tariffs removed.
Right.
They basically, there was like, they ended up tariffing every single thing coming out of China. And they were trying to, oh no. So there's a trade imbalance, right? And we're basically tariffing the stuff that they're sending us, and then they're tariffing the stuff right back that we're sending them, right? But since we send them so little, like they ran out of ammunition pretty quick because we tariffed them for like 800 billion or whatever it is.
So like,
you know,
you can
don't quote me on that
tariff
number.
our stuff. What do we care?
And,
right?
right. So, but then we. So then they tariffed everything that we were buying, and then anyway, you get the picture.
I understand. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it would be interesting. I don't know how this would work. It would be interesting if I guess it depends on what China's priorities are. It's kind of hard to tell when you have a dictator, but it would be interesting if China could be prevented from military action against Taiwan strictly through threat of tariffs. I guess the question depends, how bad do they want Taiwan exactly? Like, what is the big thought process for getting back Taiwan that's so motivating, risking all this sort of economic harm to their country?
Yeah.
So.
He's thinking of it as we need American jobs and we need things to be produced at home. Like we can't have components for our military being produced abroad because that's just not strategically in our interest.
Yeah, but
my thinking is, the labor issue is going to change dramatically over the next 20 years. So bringing all of these jobs back to the United States that are ultimately going to be automated away anyway. I don't know if that's a good strategy.
Well, for some things like chips or military stuff, I mean, you think even if it's all going to be robots, you want it to be robots in America just for security purposes.
Yeah, that's true. Obviously, yeah. But other things,
yes, right.
Yeah, automobiles. Yeah,
right. I think I'd be willing to wager that if Trump could trade tariffs for not invading Taiwan, even if it means a loss of American jobs, that he would take that trade.
Yeah, that would be politically horrendous. I mean, if anyone framed it that way, it would look awful.
Why? I mean, I stopped.
Well,
China
his base
from
is totally
Taiwan.
against interventionism. His base would be like, what the fuck? We don't care if China takes Taiwan. Let them take Taiwan. We need American jobs. America first. That's what they would say.
I mean, anyone that says that, it's kind of a retard. So I don't know. I don't know if that would be a popular. I guess some idiots on the internet would say that, having no concern for China controlling, all the microchips that we put in all our technology. You're like, oh yeah, that's gonna go totally well, right? You know,
Yeah, I just yeah, I guess I don't Taiwan, I don't know how strategically advantageous it is. I think
that's
the
the problem.
really
It's
high-end
super
stuff is
strategic.
already being produced in America.
That's not
The
true.
really cutting edge stuff is already being produced in
We
America.
get so much chips still from Taiwan.
Yeah, but there's different levels. Here,
I
we'll
know,
look it
but
up.
you don't want any. I mean, you really don't want mid-level to high-level chips under the Chinese control. You really don't want that at all.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree.
So
But it didn't cost this country anything. It made this country money, and we never really got the chance to go all out because we had to fight COVID in the last part. And we did it very successfully. And when I handed it over to Biden, the stock market was higher than what it was just previous to COVID coming in. It was actually higher. Tariffs are properly used, are a very powerful tool, not only economically, but also for getting other things outside of economics.
Well, again, prices did go up on some goods in your first administration, washing machines, tires. Will you punish CEOs?
Let me just explain to you. No, you mentioned washing machines. So you look at Whirlpool in Ohio.
goes on this washing machine.
You're totally whispering. I can barely
said,
hear
hold on, let
you.
me jump
I don't know
ahead.
if
He's
you're
going
moving
on
your
washing
mic
as well.
around or Taiwan produces over 60% of the world's semiconductors and more than 90% of the most advanced ones. So I
There
guess
you
they
go.
do.
Yeah.
So that is the
Not
problem.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Powerful, and it kept jobs.
But how do you make sure that consumers don't wind up paying more? Will you punish CEOs who try to pass the cost of tariffs on to their customers?
Well, the market's going to take care of it. I mean, actually, the market takes care of it. And if it doesn't, we adjust it somewhat. But in the case of Whirlpool, or let's say companies that made washing machines, they were all being put out of business by the dumping from, in particular, South Korea and China. And when I put the tariffs on, very substantial tariffs, although peanuts compared to what people do to us, what countries do to us, it became a very, very powerful, successful company. Now, let's say I didn't do the tariffs. It would have gone out of business. You would have lost tens of thousands of jobs. And you don't include that in your equation. No, they make a lot of money. I'll go a step further. Tariffs are going to make our country rich. Tariffs are going to help us pay off $35 trillion in debt. Tariffs are going to make our country safe because China, as an example, doesn't want to play games with us if we're going to do tariffs on them.
There's not really answer. The question was, what do you do if you do the tariffs and the companies start passing on the price to consumers? You didn't really have an answer to the question. Just the market will take care of it, which I'm skeptical of, or at least skeptical of in the short term. And I think part of the problem with the way that Trump is viewing this is, yeah, like you could put tariffs, when the economy was, humming along when he was in his first term, inflation was historically low. Yeah. I mean, if you put some tariffs on and prices go up a little bit in certain industries, and maybe it's not such a big deal. I don't know if that's the case now with everyone so inflation hawkish, or so hawkish on inflation and price increases. Like every little increase is going to be reported, a million times. People are going to start noticing, are going to really pay attention to this stuff.
Robert Lighthizer is the guy who was, I don't know what position he was in the Trump administration, but he was a guy negotiating a lot of these trade deals. And he made an interesting argument about the trade imbalance because the Chinese basically get a bunch of our currency and then they use that currency to buy American assets like homes and stocks and all of these different things, which is part of the equation I never really considered, but is probably pretty bad. Like if you have a foreign company owning a huge share of Apple,
Mm-hmm.
that's not good when American citizens don't really own anything of value.
Why is that a bad thing? Like if China owns shares of Apple, like unless they owned enough to like influence a company's behaviors, if they don't own enough to influence the behavior, why does it matter?
If those products and services were manufactured in the United States and the American citizens were making that money, then they would be using that money to invest in Apple and homes and stuff like that here. Basically, you have a population that's not really earning wages to buy assets, real assets.
But Okay, so it's not. So it's not really about, the problem isn't really China buying stock in Apple. It's just that you want to have people have higher wages in America so that they could buy stock.
Yeah, you
So
want the assets to stay in America. That's the point.
right, you would prefer for your own citizens to, make more money than a foreign country, even
Right,
though the
yeah.
foreign country buying in the stock increases the stock price, which increases the value that Americans have in Apple stock too.
Well, if they don't, I mean, I'd rather I would rather have Americans owning more of that stuff, obviously. So
Mm-hmm.
we always talk about the wealth inequality, wealth discrepancy.
Of
So
course,
that
of
wealth
course.
discrepancy exists in China too.
Right.
But
I mean, I'm very skeptical of Trump, or really any Republicans party's ability to increase wages, considering, I mean, the reason that we're in the situation we're in is because the Republican Party has basically controlled the economic situation of America for the last 45 years. And so now now with Trump, there's this sort of like pushback against that without really acknowledgement of the fact that it was Republicans Party's fault in the first place. And I
the
don't
Repu-
really see how they're going to fix any of that stuff.
how did the Republican Party control the economy for 45 years? It was, I mean,
Because
we had
you
Clinton
had
and we had Obama. Clinton for
be,
8 years
be,
and Obama for 8 years.
right, but how did Bill Clinton win the election? He had to
Uh,
he had to pivot away from the left and become a neoliberal centrist,
okay, so
right?
because Bill Clinton did NAFTA, that's the Republican Party controlling.
So no, okay. You acknowledge that when a political candidate is very popular, has overwhelming popularity, they completely change like the entire face of politics in the country as a result, right? So like FDR wins 4 times in a row. His policies are so popular, he's so beloved that the Republican Party shifts, pretty hard left economically in order to compete with him. It's the only way they could really compete with the Democrats at that point. And so that's why you get 40 years of the Republican Party, being on board with Keynesian economic policy. That's why you get
Right.
the very
Because out
famous,
of the Great Depression, yeah.
right. It's out of the Great Depression, out of World War II. So you get the Nixon, very famous, we're all Keynesians now. And
They were
then
locked
what?
out of Congress for 45,
Right.
50 years. Yeah. Newt
Exactly.
Gingrich
Exactly.
was the first Speaker of the House. I mean, they were locked
Republican.
out of
Yeah.
power.
Right.
Yeah.
And yes, and part of that is because you have what happens? You have the left kind of controls economic policies for 40 years after World War II. And
Hmm.
then you start to get the inflation crisis, which is, part of it's because the monetary policy is focused on full employment and not really on price stability. And part of it's because there's so much of this emphasis on making sure that wages keep increasing. And if wages keep increasing, obviously the price of things are going to keep increasing. And then people that are working jobs are going to say, hey, the price of things are increasing. I need another pay raise. And that's, you're going to get inflation. And then you
So
kind of
you
combine,
think free trade caused the.
well, hold on. So you kind of combine that with the big oil, crisis that happens under Carter, and you get this like super double inflation crisis. And then so what happens? You have Ronald Reagan comes in, and he says we're going to make America great again. We're, Daddy's home. We're going to do the conservative thing. No more of this kind of Keynesian bullshit. And Ronald Reagan 100% ushers in the evil, now by evil standards by the Republican Party, he ushers in the neoliberal economic policy, the globalist economic policy. We're going to break up the unions. We're going to focus on price stability. We're going to allow jobs to be sent overseas. And that was George
That's
H.W.
free
Bush's
trade. I
famous
just
line,
want to.
or yeah, and just kind of, yeah, and advocate for free trade and kind of lax business regulations. And again, the government out of business's way. And so and what happens? Reagan wins in this massive, massive landslide. Democrats get completely annihilated. Reagan wins a second time, massive landslide. Democrats get completely annihilated. His vice president, George H.W. Bush, wins a third, so now they have a third Republican term in a row. And the Democrats are worried. They're like, oh my God, how are we going to ever win presidency after this? And then you get Bill Clinton, and Bill Clinton has to pivot away from the left wing economic policies that they had been running on for the last 40, 50 years and run as kind of a, neoliberal light. And that's kind of, and after that happened, well, that's the direction the country has been ever since.
Right. So it's
And
free
so,
trade. The free trade model continues through Bill Clinton, right?
yes, the
Obama
neoliberal
plays into
model. Yes.
the free trade model, even though like Obama was kind of against globalism to some extent. So,
Mm-hmm.
but isn't Trump attacking the free trade
He
model,
is. He
moving
100%. Yeah.
back to the FDR kind of
Yes.
protectionist model?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
that is the irony of it is Trump is attacking what the Republican Party basically created, and he's saying, no, we're going to go back to sort of a more, protectionist, anti-neoliberal economic model. Yeah.
Right.
But
So, but is that good or bad?
well, I think if we weren't in an inflation problem, it would be good. So I think it might be good in the long run. Well, it might not be. It might not matter because, as you're saying, all these jobs might get automated away anyway, so some might be for naught. So it might not matter. But I'm not
It's better to
against
be
the idea. I'm just
producing
saying it's going to raise prices.
it's better to be producing the stuff here anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Safer, definitely safer.
Sure. Yeah, I think it's better in the long run. I just think it's going to raise prices. And it's funny because, or it's ironic to me because so much of this election was based around prices are too high. So let's elect a candidate that's going to make prices go higher, which, yeah, in the long run could be good. In the short run, I don't think it's going to be good for people.
Ultimately, and this is why any sort of policy changes that Trump enacts are interesting, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because I do agree with you in that inflation is his top priority. So he has a belief right now that he can do some tariffs and that's going to actually have zero effect on inflation. We'll see. But my guess is if inflation is still a problem, Trump is going to pivot to something else.
Mm.
Trump is going to say, okay, well, we need to get that inflation down. Look,
Okay,
I think they could lower interest rates. I think that could deal with inflation.
We'll see. I mean, I think part of what I was getting at with my my skepticism towards the Republican Party fixing this is that yes, Trump himself is running as a populist. He's running against the neoliberal economic policies the Republicans have been championing for 40 years. But that's Donald Trump. And the question is, there's all this momentum behind the Republican Party that's still pushing them in that way. I think a lot of what was going on in Trump's first term was a lot of the Republican Party basically saying, okay, well, we can just sort of distract Trump with these other issues, cultural war issues, other issues, and we'll just kind of allow the economic policies to continue. And I guess I'm curious to see, will that work a second time? Will the Republicans be able to distract Trump with immigration or other shiny toys enough for that he runs out the clock on the second term and none of this economic populism comes to pass?
Do you think the Democratic Party is economically populist?
Not at the moment.
Right. So neither party you think wants to do
is,
anything
right. Yeah.
economically populist. So it's
No,
basically
no.
Trump against everyone.
Yeah,
Both
I'm
parties
sure
are
there's
like,
some.
let's just.
I'm sure there's some select Democrats that would be on board with this stuff, but as a party, I don't think they are either.
Right.
But I think that they have at least the momentum to in the future. I could see to go in that direction. I guess we'll find out.
Which is fascinating. That's what I want. I
Mhm.
want to find out.
Right, right.
Do you have a timestamp you want to move forward to?
Sure.
They don't want
Did you want to hear? I mean, he says the thing about the minimum wages, which
to play
Okay.
games, and we have a lot of games.
completely agree with. So we'll
Yeah, that's what I was.
jump ahead of that. Hold on.
So I hear you saying, similarly to sort of what you said in 2020, will you consider it? Is this something you're going to look at?
I'd want to speak to the governors. And the other thing that's very complicated about minimum wages is places are so different. Mississippi and Alabama and great places are very different than New York or California. I mean, in terms of the cost of living and other things. So it would be nice to have just a minimum wage for the whole country, but it wouldn't work because you have places where it's very inexpensive to live, where a minimum wage, which is at $8 or $9, might have very little effect because the cost of living in certain places is really low.
Before we move on to immigration, which I do want to talk about, the chairman of the Federal Reserve.
That's completely true. It's kind of I give Trump points for that one, obviously. So
The big clip though was her basically trying to pin him in on raising the minimum wage across the
right,
country. Everyone on Twitter was like losing their minds. So
right. It's a stupid concept.
right, but they were saying that she is like an activist, but I didn't think what she did was very bad. So
No, I mean,
I thought a
I
lot of
think
people on
this.
Twitter were massively overreacting to it.
Yeah, yeah. I think this interview's like. I think. I mean, at least the parts that I've seen, she's been tough but fair in these questions. That doesn't seem anything unreasonable. Oh, where are you going?
I was looking for where she pulls out her chart. She's got like a little chart there.
Well,
There,
yeah.
here we go.
Asked you if you would raise the minimum wage, you said you would consider it. And so my question for you is, now that you are going back to the White House, for these 19 states that voted for you, are you going to raise the federal
It's a very low
minimum wage?
number. I will agree. It's a very low number. Let me give you the downside.
She's basically saying, look, these are your voters. These are your people. You owe them. Are you going to raise the minimum wage for them? Is that what you're going to do? All the
He
people
says
who live in
no.
those states. Well, all the people who live in those states. Look, when I moved from California to Louisiana, oh my God, I was a fucking bazillionaire.
Right.
It's just, yeah. So all the people who live in those states know, oh yeah, it's pretty cheap to live around here. So
Right.
they're not struggling. Of course, someone who works for the press and lives in New York or Los Angeles, they're like, oh my God, how can you live off $7.25 an hour? That's insane.
Right.
So it's just a
No,
completely different perspective.
The left is completely wrong on the federal minimum wage. The right is completely correct. You just can't. I'm in favor of a middle wage, and I mean a minimum wage, a strong minimum wage. I'm not one of these abolish the minimum wage, but you just can't. It's got to be locally done. It cannot be federally done. The economies of these states are just too different from each other.
So where do you want to go?
Oh, let's go to mass deportation, baby.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
You would.
You don't have plans to do that right now?
No, I don't.
Okay, let's talk about mass deportation, one of your big agenda items. You've talked about prioritizing people who have criminal histories.
Correct.
But is it your plan to deport everyone who is here illegally over the next 4 years?
Well, I think you have to do it. And it's a.
Oh, there you go. Wrap it up, everybody.
Yeah,
They're all going back.
deport 'em
Everyone's
all.
going back.
It's a very tough thing to do. It's, but you have to have, you have rules, regulations, laws. They came in illegally. The people that have been treated very unfairly are the people that have been online for 10 years to come into the country. And we're going to make it very easy for people to come in terms of they have to pass the test. They have to be able to tell you what the Statue of Liberty is. They have to tell you a little bit about our country. They have to love our country. They can't
Assimilation. Look at that.
Yes.
come out of prisons. We don't want people that are in for murder.
Well, actually, I do. It's interesting. This is a very interesting answer that people on the right don't really focus on, because the answer he's giving is, he's posing it in the direction of fairness towards legal immigrants, and saying that he actually said that he's going to make it easier for people to legally immigrate to the country. So this is kind of a fascinating answer. I don't know if he's actually going to do that, but.
So we had 11,000 and 13,000 different estimates, 13,099 murderers released into our country over the last 3 years. They're walking down the streets. They're walking next to you and your family, and they're very dangerous.
The 13,000 figure, I think, goes back about 40 years.
No, it doesn't. No,
That
it's within the 3-year
13,000
period. It's during the Biden term. No, that was a fiction that they put that out. This was done by the Border Patrol. It's 13,099, and it's during the Biden period of time. And these are murderers, many of whom murdered more than one person. You don't want those people in this country.
But you're saying something.
That's a lot of murderers, right? 13,000 murderers? Murderers.
I know what he's talking about, because my understanding when we looked at the data, like when this came up, months ago, was it was going back 40 years. I don't know what he means when he says it's just under Biden.
Sir, that's significant. I just want to make sure I'm clear, which is that you're saying, yes, you're going to focus on the people with criminal histories, but everyone who's here illegally has to go.
I'm saying this. We have to get the criminals out of our country. We have to get people that were taken out of mental institutions and put them back into their mental institution, no matter what country it is. Do you know that Venezuela, their prisons are at the lowest point in terms of emptiness that they've ever been? They're taking their people out of those prisons by the thousands, and they're drunk. And just to get back, because I know exactly what you're getting at. Number one, we're doing criminals, and we're going to do them really rapidly. We're getting the worst gang probably with MS-13, and the Venezuelan gangs are the worst in the world. They're vicious, violent people. And you see what they've done in Colorado and other places. They're taking over, literally taking over apartment complexes. And doing it with impunity. They don't care. They couldn't. They just are. They're in the real estate business.
You know, the local police say that is not the case in Colorado.
Oh, it's totally the case. I mean, I have it
you
on
don't
tape.
believe the local police.
I play it. I used to play it at my rallies every single night. No, they're breaking into doors. They're taking over the building.
But sir, you
and by the way,
raised the point.
The police are afraid to do anything.
You raised the point that the logistics.
You said she was wrong on this, that they don't. She's arguing the specifics of whether or not they're gang members, and but they really did take over the apartment complex. So
Are complicated. You said
Sure
yourself
they are,
you would
but everything's
need 24,
complicated.
yeah, you mean you need 24 times more ICE detention capacity just to deport 1 million people per year, not to mention more agents, more judges, more planes. Is it realistic to deport everyone who's
You have
here
no choice.
illegally?
First of all, they're costing us a fortune. But we're starting with the criminals, and we got to do it. And then we're starting with others, and we're going to see how it goes.
Who are the others?
Others are other people outside of criminals. We have convicted murders. We don't mean people that are even on trial. We have people that have murdered numerous people are on our streets and in our farms, and we have to get them out of our country.
What about dreamers, sir? Dreamers who were brought to this country illegally as children. You said once back in 2017, they, quote, shouldn't be very worried about being deported. Should they be worried now?
The dreamers are going to come later, and we have to do something about the dreamers because these are people that have been brought here at a very young age, and many of these are middle-aged people now. They don't even speak the language of their country. And yes, we're going to do something about the dreamers.
What does that mean?
And
What are you going to do?
I will work with the Democrats on a plan, and if we can come up with a plan, but the Democrats have made it very, very difficult to do anything. Republicans are very open to the dreamers. The dreamers, we're talking many years ago, they were brought into this country, many years ago. Some of them are no longer young people, and in many cases, they become successful. They have great.
this is the part that Young Turks, Anna, and Jank were excited about. But the Democrats are obviously going to be very difficult because they want the win. They want the win on their books for the Dreamers. They want to be able to say, we were the ones that, made the Dreamers happen. They don't want to let Trump actually do it. They don't want Trump to get the credit for it. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's the Democrats standing in the way. So it is good that people like Jank and Anna are out there saying, no, let's take a win for once. It doesn't matter who gets the credit. The policy is what matters. So I think that's good.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. I am pleased with Trump's answer here, where he seems to be in favor of letting the Dreamers stay. You're probably correct. Democrats might be difficult to work with because they're not going to want to give Trump that win. It might have kind of like it's interesting. We might get the reverse of the border bill situation, where essentially there's some bipartisan compromise bill for the Dreamers that looks pretty good, and then it gets sabotaged by the other side, even though it's what they actually want, just because they want the political win themselves.
Yeah, they're going to say that it's not enough. We need more.
There'll probably be
unless
something.
we get everything.
Right, there'll be something in it like, increase border security or deportation of illegals that are not Dreamers. There'll be like something in it that they'll point to and say, oh, we can't support it because of that reason.
Right. But the real reason they're not going to support it is they don't want to give Trump a win.
Right. Maybe.
Jobs. In some cases, they have small businesses. Some cases, they might have large businesses. And we're going to have to do something with them. And
You want them to be able to stay. That's what you're saying.
I do.
Okay.
I want to be able to work something out. And it should have been able to be worked out over the last 3 or 4 years. And it never got worked out. Biden could have done it because he controlled, Congress to a certain extent, right? He could have done something, but they didn't do it. I never understood why, because they always seem to want to do it. But then when it comes down to it, they don't. I think we can work with the Democrats and work something out.
Let me ask you about another group of people, the estimated 4 million families in America who have mixed immigration status. So I'm talking about parents who might be here illegally, but the kids are here legally. Your borders
You're
are
talking
Tom
about
Homan.
separation?
Yeah, well, there are two aspects to this. Your borders are Tom Homan said they can be deported together.
Correct.
Is that the plan?
Well, that way you keep well, I don't want to.
He's got to know the polling on this. Like, it's just the polling on this has to be overwhelming because he just talks about it so openly.
But what does the polling say on this?
I'm not sure, but a lot of these campaigns have internal polling. So they supposedly have better polling than any of the public polling that we see.
Because most of at least the public polling I've seen is generally people are, they're big on deporting the criminals. They're not so big on deporting the non-criminals that have been here for, extended periods of time.
Right. That's the public polling. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Right. But he's pretty big on the whole, send everyone back.
Yeah. So look, there's the public polling is done by various news outlets. So, they don't, they can spend various amounts of money on it, right? But how important is it to their news reporting, right? The campaigns, like it's basically essential for them to know where the public is at. So
Right.
I think they
Right.
spend more money on public polling. I think they get better public polling. And so just him being so open about it makes me think that his internal public polling shows that Americans are in favor of sending everyone back, even if
Hmm.
we're keeping families together to send them back. That's
Maybe.
just my speculation. So
Right. Right.
yeah.
I mean, it also could just be there could be some kind of bargain worked out where it's, the Democrats will get the Dreamer protection and, amnesty for people that have been here for over 10 years or something. And then the Republicans will get, an end to chain migration and, much more strict rules and regulations on illegal immigration or something. So,
Wasn't there tens of thousands of people waiting on a court date? Asylum
right.
seekers? Like
Yes.
those
Yes.
people are like they've come in over the last 4 years. So
Yeah.
I think time in the country, obviously, and what they're doing, obviously. Look, if they've been in the country for 10 years and they're just roving criminals,
Well, then,
fucking
yeah, obviously, that's, sure,
yeah.
obviously.
But people are interested in this because the Democrats have just said, even talking about immigration is racist, which hurt them tremendously because they couldn't do any of this stuff. They completely neutered themselves on immigration. So
Be breaking up families. So the only way you don't break up the family is you keep them together, and you have to send them all back.
Even kids who are here legally?
Well, what you're going to do if they want to stay with the father? Look, we have to have rules and regulations. You can always find something out like, this doesn't work, that doesn't work. I'll tell you what's going to be horrible. When we take a wonderful young woman who's with a criminal, and they show the woman, and she could stay by the law, but they show the woman being taken out, or they want her out, and your cameras are focused on her as she's crying, as she's being taken out of our country, and then the public turns against us. But we have to do our job, and you have to have a series of standards and a series of laws. And in the end, look, our country is a mess.
See, that makes me think that he knows the polling isn't on his side because he's saying like, they're gonna show the crying lady that everyone feels sorry for, but you still have to do it anyway.
well, it makes me think that he knows how the polling moves tremendously. Like he maybe thinks the polling is on his side now, but as soon as that video hits, he's like, "Oh, the polling completely
change.
turned against us."
Yeah.
He is. I mean, he's super conscious of the optics of it, which is. I mean, he's correct. He is totally correct.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
We have the highest crime rate, and during the debate, a man whose ratings have gone way down, David Muir, said to me, "No, crime is," because I had to debate 3 people, not 1.
I always like when he insults someone. I always
I know.
like, yeah. His ratings have gone down.
He's got to throw that in there.
I know.
Debating 1 was easy. Debating 3 was actually pretty easy too, if you want to know the truth. But David Muir said, "The crime rates have gone down." I said, "No, they've gone up." And then the following day, they released the crime rates, and they were way up.
Yeah, the FBI statistics are. You're talking about those FBI statistics.
Well, no, but he gave the wrong answer.
Confusing based on what you're looking at.
But a lot of that is migrant crime.
Let me ask you about another aspect
Christian,
of this.
a lot of it's migrant crime.
Well, let me ask.
He really likes that. He really likes the hit on the migrant crime thing, even though that's, I'm pretty sure, a pretty small percentage of the overall crime in the country. But he really likes
You
to
keep
hitting on it.
whispering. I don't know if you are walking
Really?
around.
I'm
or
talking
leaving
exactly
the room or
than
something.
this. Maybe I.
Your volume is going all over the map here. So
How does that sound?
that sounds like a real. That sounds like you put your mic next to your face.
No, I think I accidentally turned the gain down on my mic to like minimum. So.
Oh, okay.
Okay. No, but I was saying, no, it's interesting that, it's a very small amount of not very small, but it's a small amount of the total crime is this immigrant crime. And he keeps hitting it. Like that's such an important talking point for him to always hit back on is that it's the migrant crime.
Yes. Because it's good politics.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Okay, let me jump ahead to the birthright citizenship part. This is obviously a big part that made a bunch of news here.
Let me ask you about some of your other promises on this topic. You
Okay.
promised to end birthright citizenship
Yeah.
on day one. Is that still your plan?
Yeah, absolutely.
The 14th Amendment, though, says that, quote, all persons born in the United States are citizens. Can you get around the 14th Amendment with an
Well, we're going to
executive
have to
action?
get a change. We'll maybe have to go back to the people, but we have to end it. We're the only country that has it.
Through an executive action?
You know, we're the only country that has it.
The answer to that is no. You can't get around the 14th Amendment. I definitely looked. I looked into it. So all roads kind of lead to, you can't really get rid of birthright citizenship without some sort of amendment. Yeah.
Right.
So there are lots of ways that you can legally challenge it, but they're all going to end up in some sort of legal battle. That legal battle will probably go to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court may come down on the side of getting rid of it, which there is a clause in the 14th Amendment that is a little ambiguous that the Supreme Court could interpret to get rid of birthright citizenship, but they'd be reversing like a whole shitload of precedent, and they would get the activist judges claim thrown at them tremendously. So it'd be a pretty ballsy move to do. But look, they got rid of Roe versus Wade, right? So
Do you know what I'm not sure what the argument is, because I was wondering if there's some weird novel legal argument someone could make to say that, oh, the 14th Amendment actually doesn't, permit birthright citizenship.
I can't remember the actual clause, but there is a specific clause that is ambiguous enough that you can interpret it in multiple ways. There's like a clause that they cut out for diplomats who are not under the jurisdiction of the United States, so that they could change that to say, these illegal immigrants are not under the jurisdiction of the United States, really. Or, there's a lot of birth tourism that goes on. So
Right.
somebody comes from China, has a baby here, that baby's automatically an American citizen. They could say, well, this person's a tourist. They're not under the jurisdiction of the United States, and therefore that's not a citizen of the United States.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Here's what
So
the first sentence of the 14th Amendment says. It says, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof
there
are
it is. That's the
citizens,
clause.
yeah, are citizens of the United States and of the states wherein they reside. So that second part, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof,
Could
I
be
guess you could
reinterpreted. Yes.
Right. I think that'd be kind of ridiculous, because I'm assuming
Well, it
that
would
jurisdiction
overturn precedent, because they
yeah,
have had
right.
Supreme Court cases where they've interpreted that they were citizens of the
Right.
United States, right?
Right. And it seems to me pretty clear when you talk about, like, if you're in the country illegally, you're still subject to the jurisdiction of the laws of the United States. That seemed to only really apply to diplomats who have, immunity and stuff. So
True. Yes, exactly.
And you're correct. There's been actual Supreme Court rulings and so many rulings on this issue saying that no, there's birthright citizenship. So it seems like if the court got rid of it, it would, to me, it would seem so like kind of batshit crazy. I don't think they would at all. So
I watched Young Turks yesterday. I watched the entire show, and they were. It really bugs me when Cenk strawmans the birthright citizenship thing, because he said like, if they made any changes to birthright citizenship, it would threaten, like your and my citizenship, right? Or someone.
Well, it wouldn't be retroactive, right? It would be.
No, of course it wouldn't. And
Right.
look, if you're two American citizens that have a kid, like they want the change that they want to make is if the child is born to two people who are citizens of other countries, they should not be a citizen of the United States. They should be a citizen of whatever country the parents are citizens of, right? That's the change that they want to make. Super simple, right? You could say, if you have one parent that is a American citizen and the other parent is a citizen of some other country, an immigrant here on a work visa, whatever, as long as one parent is a citizen of the United States, then you get birthright citizenship, right? So it's a very it's a very clear distinction that they want to make. We don't need to straw man it. We could just say it how it is, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they want to stop anchor baby stuff.
Yeah.
Which, I'm not opposed to a change like that. I would be in favor of a change like that. I don't have a problem with it, but it just seems so unlikely to happen because it would require a constitutional amendment. So Probably
or
not going to change.
or the look, before the Roe versus Wade thing, I might have thought, oh, there's no way the Supreme Court is going to overturn that. But now we're in just completely uncharted waters here. Like
I mean, yeah,
maybe they
maybe.
reinterpret.
I
Yeah.
maybe it's definitely possible. I think with Roe v. Wade, it was a very shaky interpretation that they were, overturning anyway. This
Mhm.
one, the natural birthright citizenship interpretation is so rock solid. I think it'd be a little different, but who knows?
Right.
And I just want to point out, Trump keeps saying that no other country has that, and I was like curious because like, is that true?
No,
Well,
that's
that's
not
not true. Yeah, I don't
remotely
know why I
true.
keep saying that. Yeah, there's
It's weird
actually,
because so many people in the over, I guess, in northern and southern America have birthright citizenship based on
yeah,
soil. Yes.
yes. I don't know why Trump. I don't know where he heard this talking point from. This is completely not true. It says there's 33 countries. Most of them, like all but two, essentially, are in North and South America. They all have birthright citizenship, including Canada and Mexico. And then there's 33 other countries that have a form of birthright citizenship with some restriction. So it's like if one parent, it's kind of what you were saying, if one parent's a citizen, or if the child or parents are stateless, then they can be then automatically a citizen. If there's some countries like in the UK where even if the parents are not citizens, but they've been living in the country legally for 5 years, then their child is a citizen. So
Yeah, in Europe, I mean, Europe is the difference. Europe is parentage. It's like whatever your parentage is, you're a citizen of. Doesn't matter where you're born.
right, right.
Because if you go through those 33 countries, it's all like, it's weird because it is North America and South America. It's like the Atlantic Ocean is the dividing line.
Yeah, yeah. It's the new
And then
world
you get
versus the
into
old
Europe
world's
and it's all,
attitudes, which I guess makes sense to some extent.
well,
But
there was so much more subject to travel in Europe, obviously. So, yeah.
mhm.
It would be much easier in Europe to just, jump the border and look, my kid's German, right?
Sure. Well, that makes sense why they'd be sort of opposed to it, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you know, if somebody sets a foot, just a foot, 1 foot, you don't need to, on our land, congratulations, you are now a citizen of the United States of America. Yes, we're going to end that because
The baby's literally born on the fucking border. She's like spread open. Why would he say that? Just 1 foot, not even two. Just 1 foot.
What if
it's
the woman
ridiculous.
is on the
Executive
other
action.
side of the border and she like shoots it out of the uterus, and it lands in like right on the American soil?
No,
So
it
does
should
that
be
count?
like it should be like Groundhog Day, whichever direction the baby crawls. It's
Oh,
like,
there you go. I like it. I like it.
Well, if we can, through executive action. I was going to do it through executive action, but then we had to fix COVID first, to be honest with you. We have to end it. It's ridiculous. Do you know we're the only country in the world that has it? Do you know that? There's
Well,
not one other country.
what about the legal
Do you know
challenge,
where
inevitable
also-
legal
well, that's the other
challenges
thing.
that'll
Do you know
come?
we have thousands of judges?
why didn't she jump on that? That's like so glaringly wrong. We're
She
the
probably doesn't
only
know.
country in the world that has that.
I mean, I wouldn't have known if I never thought to look it up before I listened to this interview. So
Hmm.
Somebody walks onto our land, and we have to now say, welcome to the United States. They could be a criminal or not a criminal. We release them into our country. It's called catch and release. We release them into our country. Wait just 1 second. And now they get them lawyers. And the lawyers
and they're
are
pregnant.
good lawyers.
They shoot out all these babies.
And
every day.
everybody has a lawyer. And you know how many judges we have? Thousands. Thousands. Now, here's what other countries do. They come into the land and they say, I'm sorry, you have to go. And they take them out. Okay? With us, once they touch our land, we're into litigation that lasts for years, costs us hundreds of billions of dollars.
I don't believe this is true because the problem with my understanding is that the issue with the asylum seeking stuff is that it's a treaty, so it applies to it applies to all these countries, all these this international treaty. That's why everyone has to adjudicate all this stuff.
Well, if it's a treaty, that'd be easier to change than the Constitution, though.
It would be easier to change the constitution, but not easier. I mean, it's still difficult to change it to make some new agreement with a foreign country, as opposed to just like rewriting a law.
Well, you could pull out of the treaty, but
You
you
could, but
lose whatever advantages
whatever
you
else
have.
is right, whatever else is on the treaty. So,
We have judges, and I'm sure they're all honest, but I don't know that for a fact. You can imagine what's going on with the judges. But just so you, because I have a lot of judges. I tell you what, I know more about judges than any human being in history. Look, we have judges. Every time somebody puts 2 feet or even 1 foot on a piece of our land, it's welcome to long-term litigation. Other countries.
Washington Post is fact-checking again. He said he knows more about judges than anyone in human history. That is a lie.
Not true.
Add it to the list.
In fact, in 1890, Bartholomew Judge Judgington was actually the person, the Guinness Book of World Records of knowing the most judges.
It's such bullshit.
Every other country,
it is a weird statement.
When somebody walks on and they see that they're here illegally, they walk them off, they take them back to where they came from. We have to get rid of this system. It's killing our country.
Let's talk about health care. I've been talking to Republican lawmakers on Capitol Hill. They say it's no longer feasible to repeal and replace Obamacare because it's so entrenched in the system. Do you see it that way? Is that now off the table, repealing and replacing?
When John McCain let us down by voting, and Murkowski and Collins and whoever it was that voted against, but they really let us down. They did us a great disservice because we would have had great health. Obamacare is lousy health care. It's very expensive health care for the people. It's also expensive for the country, but for the people, it's lousy health care. When John McCain gave his thumbs down after saying for 10 years that he wants to repeal and replace, okay? And then he came out, put his now famous thumbs down, and he became a hero to the left. Let me just tell you, if we find something better, I would love to do it. But unless we find, but one thing I have to say, I inherit.
Yeah, but see, this I think would be the justified, Washington Post, like Trump lie here. Because if you go back and you look at John McCain's statements, he's very clear. He said he did not like Obamacare. He was 100% favor of repealing it. He just wanted there to be something to replace it with. He didn't want to repeal it before they had a plan. And no one ever had a plan. It was just get rid of it. And that's why I voted against it. So
bad news.
And that is a stupid thing. So
John McCain was a deciding vote on repealing Obamacare.
There were 3 Republicans. It was McCain and the 2 other people he talked about. I don't know if they needed all 3 of those votes or not, but
so
inherited Obamacare or anything else you want to go. It's got about 20 names, but I inherited it. And I had a decision to make with Health and Human Services. I had a big decision to make. Do I make it as good as we can make it, or do I let it rot? And a lot of political people said, let it rot and let it be a failure. I said, that's not the right thing to do. And I had very good people in the medical area that handled that. And I said, what do you want to do? He said, we really have an obligation to make it as good as we can. And we did. We made it as good as we can make it. Instead of making it bad where everybody would be calling for its repeal, I made it so that it works. Now,
but you did try to overturn.
There you go. Donald Trump saved Obamacare, everybody. You should call it Trump care.
You should call it Trump care, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The Trump vaccine and Trump care. I like it.
It's
you
lousy.
did try to overturn it. You did have your Justice Department try to direct the Supreme Court to.
No, we got a little bit of a surprising opinion, to be honest with you.
Okay, I will say something. Why do her eyes look so wide in this conversation? I've seen her before. She doesn't have like this sort of like wide-eyed. Look at this.
But you did try to overturn it,
it's
sir.
It's
you did
lousy.
try to overturn.
Oh my God.
She's trying to take in all of the Trump greatness. She really wants to soak it in.
She's like trying to do the AOC. AOC always has like the giant eyes. Whenever she's looking at people.
You did have your Justice Department try to direct the Supreme Court to.
No, we got a little bit of a surprising opinion, to be honest with you. If it would have been overturned, we would have had much better health care right now. But right now, we have something that I made the best of. I could have made the worst of it, and it would have fallen by the wayside. I did the right thing from a human standpoint. But, I'm sort of proud of my decision. At the same time, sometimes I regret it. I told the people, and I gave them the money to do it. I said, fix it, make it work, because people would have suffered. But it's too bad that they voted no. I wish John McCain, he fought for 10 years on replacing Obamacare for 10 years.
Yeah.
And then he voted against. Nobody understands
Sir, you said during the campaign you had concepts of a plan. Do you have an actual plan at this point for health care?
Yes, we have concepts of a plan that would be better.
Still just concepts? Do you have a fully developed plan?
Let me explain. We have the biggest healthcare companies looking at it. We have doctors. We're always looking because Obamacare stinks. It's lousy. There are better answers. If we come up with a better answer, I would present that answer to Democrats and to everybody else, and I do something about it. But until we have that, or until they can approve it, but we're not going to go through the big deal. I am the one that saved Obamacare, I will say, and I did the right thing. I could have done the more political thing and killed it, and all I had to do is starve it to death.
You did try to have your Justice Department effectively kill it, though,
No,
sir.
kill it from a legal standpoint, but from a physical standpoint, I made it work.
In your concept,
What is the difference?
I don't know. That's interesting. This is his worst answer. Is just kind of like throwing out everything. He's like, I want to get rid of it. I fixed it. I killed it. I made it better. It's like, I mean, okay, some of these things can't all, be true at the same time. But
He
kind of
never
interesting.
talks about the price transparency executive order. I went back and I listened to his press conference when he signed the executive order.
Mm-hmm.
And everything he says in there is so good. But I just, since it was on the heels of the pandemic, I think it might just constantly slip his mind because the pandemic came in and kind of took over everything after that.
You're right, because that would be a very good pivot point. Like, he doesn't really
Of
want to answer
course.
this question about Obamacare because we just saw he doesn't really have a good answer on it. So just pivot away from it to say, listen, price transparency. I made everything better.
I
Look at this.
signed an executive order for price transparency. I mean, he could even go off on the Biden administration on not enforcing it, or I don't know
Right.
that they repealed it. I don't think they actually they didn't put any teeth into it. So they didn't force the healthcare providers to provide pricing on their websites and stuff like that, which is, it's a huge part of the problem. I've been convinced by Marty McRae.
Right. Yeah, maybe.
country are medication abortions. Will you restrict the availability of abortion pills when you're in office?
I'll probably stay with exactly what I've been saying for the last 2 years, and the answer is no.
You commit to that?
Well, I commit. I mean, do things change? I think they change. I hate to go on shows like Joe Biden. I'm not going to give my son a pardon. I will not, under any circumstances, give him a pardon. I watched this, and I always knew he was going to give him a pardon, and so I don't like putting myself in a position like that. So things do change, but I don't think it's going to change at all.
Okay.
That's pretty fun. That's a funny answer. I'll give him credit for that. That's a good answer.
It does, like, it is smart not to box yourself in. So
Right.
this was my problem with everyone calling Donald Trump a fascist. I was like, oh my God, you guys are all boxing yourself in. He's going to be, if he's the next president of the United States, there's going to be a lot of fucking walking back to do.
Right. Right.
Let's talk about some of your picks to fill out your administration. You named Kash Patel to be the next FBI director. He has a list in his book of 60 people that he calls members of the so-called deep state. It includes Democrats like Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton. It includes former members of your cabinet, from Bill Barr to Christopher Wray. You campaigned on destroying the deep state. Do you want Kash Patel to launch investigations into people on that list?
No, I mean, he's going to do what he thinks is right.
Do you think that's right? Do you think that's right, sir?
If they think that somebody was dishonest or crooked or a corrupt politician, I think he probably has an obligation to do it. But
are you going to direct him to do it?
No, not at all. Not at all. We have two great people there. We have him and we have Pam. And Pam Bondi has been like a rocket ship. She's very popular and very good and very fair. And Kash Patel is very fair. I'll tell you, I thought Kash may be difficult because he's, a strong conservative voice. And I don't know of anybody that's not singing his praises. The other day I was watching, and Trey Gowdy, who's a moderate person and very smart and very respected in the party, he's Kash's biggest fan. He said, this is the most misunderstood man in politics. He's great. I guess they worked together on the Russia hoax or something. And Trey Gowdy.
Is this true, Sitch? What's your take on this?
Did Trey Gowdy say? I don't. First of all, calling Trey Gowdy a moderate is batshit crazy. Trey Gowdy's not a moderate.
Trey Gowdy's not a moderate.
No,
what's
yeah. So,
Kash Patel is misunderstood?
I mean, we talked about him the other day. This is the guy who almost got a bunch of special, SEAL Team 6 people and American hostage killed because for no reason that anyone knows, he lied about having the go-ahead from the Nigerian government to fly in their airspace.
Right.
So I think Kash Patel is a fucking idiot and a weirdo and a retard. And the fact, that showing alone to me automatically disqualifies him. Let alone all the fact that he's just trying to make money 24/7 off of all the branding, the attacking. Like, I think anyone who says Bill Barr is part of the deep state is an unhinged person. So, like,
right.
So I don't trust anything from Kash. And Donald Trump's answer here, I think he kind of goes into it. I think he gives a firmer commitment to not go against people later in this answer. But the first part of this answer is super wishy-washy because he's like, well, I'm not going to direct him to do it. But if he thinks he should go after these people because they commit crime, like he should do that action. So it's kind of all like, it's kind of having your cake, and eating it too
No,
scenario
it's a
here.
great answer politically. Politically, it is great. You can't say, "Oh,
Right. Right.
we should just let bygones be bygones and let the criminals get away." And you can't say, "Oh, yeah, we're going to go after everyone." So
Right.
just him saying, "Look, if they did something wrong, we should
Right.
go
Which
after
is
them."
which is the classic, I'm not saying to go after them. I'm just putting a person into that position who's going to go after them. Right.
Right. Well,
So,
I mean, we'll see, right?
mm-hmm.
If they go after him on bullshit,
Mm,
it's going to be difficult for him to maintain this position.
right.
So
Right.
if he comes out, if they go after people on bullshit and Trump comes out and tries to make it seem like it's not bullshit, I mean, that's a major red flag.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think that will make it harder for him to accomplish anything. Like it's going to be
Yes.
obvious it's bullshit. Some of the stuff they went after Trump on was obviously bullshit. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I don't think Cash is gonna go through the confirmation process anyway.
You don't
I
think
think
he's
him
going to
and,
make
and
it? No,
no, I don't
none of
think
these
him and
people are going
Pete
to
are
make
gonna.
it.
No, I think most of the people will make it. I think, and as I said, I think the Republicans want Tulsi to make it. That's why they're trying to help her.
Right.
I don't think Pete's gonna make it, and I don't think Cash is gonna make it. I think those are the two
Tulsi
that are
looks
not
good
gonna
because
make
she
it.
was a former Democrat. She ran for president in the Democratic Party.
Right. Well, that could go
Tulsi,
either way. Maybe the Republicans don't like her because of that.
well, I'm just saying it goes a long way towards making them look
Publicly,
moderate and
yes, you're correct. Yeah.
conciliatory. Yeah.
Right.
Same with RFK.
Mm-hmm.
They're basically stealing the Democrats' thunder. They're like, we're the populace. We're the party for the middle class.
Right.
We're the work with the other side party.
Right.
Democrats
And
are the ones
you
that
know,
are
and
insular.
this could actually be in for the country. This could actually be a very good move because it could force the Democrats to adopt like pro middle class, pro populist economic policies or messages again.
Yeah. They want to compete for those voters.
Right. Right.
Gowdy became a fan. Trey Gowdy. Everybody respects him. And, just like him, others also. I don't know of one negative vote. I don't think he's going to have any negative votes.
Is it your expectation, though, that Kash Patel will pursue investigations against your political enemies?
No, I don't think so.
Do you want to see that happen?
If they were crooked, if they did something wrong, if they have broken the law, probably they went after me. They went after me and I did nothing wrong.
Well, let me ask you this. You said President Biden.
Hey, that's not a good answer. That's not an optimistic answer.
Biden, quote, that you're going to appoint a real special prosecutor to go after Joe Biden. You said that
Where
during
did I say that?
the campaign.
Where?
You said that on Truth Social, June 12th, 2023. I will appoint a real special prosecutor to go after the most corrupt president in the history of the United States, Joe Biden, and the entire
That part
Biden
is
crime
true.
family. Are you going to do that? Are you going to go after Joe Biden?
I'm really looking to make our country successful. I'm not looking to go back into the past. I'm looking to make our country successful. Retribution will be through success. If we can make this country successful, that would be my greatest. That would be such a great achievement. Bring it back. We have a country now that's overridden with crime, that has millions of people that shouldn't be here, that should be in prisons in other countries, that should be in mental institutions. We have drug lords being dropped into our country and told never go back to their country. I'm looking to make our country great. I'm looking to bring prices down because, I won on two things, the border, and more than immigration. They like to say immigration. I break it down more to the border, but I won on the border and I won on groceries. It's a very simple word, groceries. Like almost, who uses the word? I started using the word, the groceries. When you buy apples, when you buy bacon, when you buy eggs, they would double and triple.
Well, okay, let me pause it before we get too far away. So, like what he just said, the part about we win through success, right? We get revenge through success. If that's a great statement. And if that's all he said, I would be far more optimistic about Trump's second term in terms of him not going after people, because I think that is the correct attitude you want to have in this situation, and would definitely be better for the country and better for Trump's getting things that he wants to get done. it's kind of muddled because even though it's a great statement, the first right before he said that statement, he basically said, "Well, I'm going to let Kash Patel do whatever the fuck he wants."
Yeah, he's already won. If he goes after Biden now, it looks bad. It totally looks bad. Biden is a one-term president. He's totally been deposed. Like he was deposed by his party in the primary. I mean, Biden, it's like beating up on a homeless person at this point. So
Whipping
I
the
just,
dog.
yeah, it's not a good play for him. And I just think Trump has these instincts that he knows politically. It's just not a good play. Like
Right.
the portions of his base might want that. They might desire it, but it is going to be perceived by the overwhelming majority of people as kicking the dog. And
Yeah.
and Trump doesn't want to do that. So that's what makes me optimistic that he's not going to go after Biden.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
you're correct. So I guess we'll see, the political instincts, will that override the revenge instinct? I guess we'll find out.
Look, they do these various fundraisers and stuff where they try to get as many ex-presidents there as possible. Trump already knows, like going
He's not
after
going to be
him.
invited.
No, Trump is going to be invited.
Not if he starts going after people.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's something to consider, right? But he knows, when he's there with Obama, when he's there with W, when he's there with HW, right? And Biden is there. He's going to know. The best revenge is not going after him legally. It's saying, "Oh, can we get a picture with just the two-term presidents here? let's get one with just the two-term presidents."
Hey, you
right?
Biden and HW, you old men. Why don't you go over there? You go the one-term loser.
Yeah, exactly. Clinton, get over here. Clinton, get over here. Let's all Obama, come on. Now let's get one with the two-term non-consecutive presidents. What do you guys say?
Oh, it's just me. Look at this.
Exactly. And that's what he wants to do. That's all he wants to do.
Right.
So it's going to make that thing that he's going through in his mind, it's going to be way weird if all of a sudden he starts going after Biden legally, right?
Mm-hmm.
This scenario that oh, well, Shifty Shift is Shifty Shift is a completely different story, though.
He's not gonna be no fundraiser.
Yeah, like he could go after Shifty Shift. So that's look. I make a compelling case on drawing the line at Biden, but I can't make the same case with Shifty Shift or Pelosi or any of these other people.
Any of these people.
Any of these other people that have been a thorn in his side. But I honestly, it's not good for him to get his hands dirty. So he's going to let Kash Patel do whatever he's going to do. And he's just going to, I know nothing about it.
Right.
What are you talking about? I'm the perfect president. I'm hands off.
Right. But that's going to be very transparent if Kash Patel's, I don't think he's going to be confirmed, but if he was theoretically, that would be very transparent.
Right. Yeah. So I will see. Look, things are going fast here.
Yep.
January 20th is right around the corner.
Yep.
The price over a short period of time. And I won an election based on that. We're going to bring those prices way down.
I want to pause here because what you're saying is significant. Because you wrote on Truth Social in 2023 that you're going to appoint a real special prosecutor to go after Joe Biden. Now you're saying you're not going to do that.
I will say this. No, I'm not doing that unless I find something that I think is reasonable. But that's not going to be my decision. That's going to be Pam Bondi's decision. And to a different extent, Kash Patel, assuming they're both there. I think they're both going to get approved. But
he is going to put a stop to it if they go after him for stuff that's going to make Trump look bad. So, but obviously he's just answering.
So. I think he's just going to throw his hands up. If Kash gets nominated, I think he's going to let him do whatever.
Yeah, look, I don't know about Kash. Pam Bondi, you think she's going to go after unless they're on firm ground with something illegal? I mean, if they actually dig up legitimate corruption on Biden, some fucking like
that's the different scenario, yeah.
Smoking gun that he received money for Hunter Biden that came straight out of Burisma.
Oh my God, here it is. We have it on tape. He's getting a Hunter Biden is handing him a briefcase full of money and there's a note on it says from Burisma. Yeah, exactly. Then yes, obviously that would change things substantially. But
I mean, look, you're downplaying it. I mean, there could be a smoking gun out there. You don't think so?
I feel like if there was a smoking gun, someone would have found it by now. I mean, the Congress has been like, drudging the earth to find the smoking gun,
Right.
connecting Joe Biden to Burisma, and they just have not been able to find it yet. That's why I'm skeptical that it exists.
I don't know. I don't know.
We'll see.
What if Zelensky has a smoking gun?
He's gonna trade it, and he's gonna like that. Okay, day one.
What is
right?
Zelensky
Wait,
wouldn't go ahead.
Here, day one, Trump is in the meeting with Zelensky. He's like, listen, I'm not going to support, the sending continued aid to Ukraine unless you got the goods. Joe Biden, give me the goods. Remember
then
that
he'd
first, remember the perfect
manufacture
phone
it.
call we did, Zelensky? We're going back.
The problem with the perfect phone call was that it was on the phone. I mean,
Exactly. This will be in person. Yeah.
If there is some smoking gun that Zelensky has, he's not incentivized to give it over to Biden, who's a sitting president. He
Trump.
owes him because Biden.
Oh.
Biden warned him that Russia was going to invade, so Biden helped him out a lot. So even
Right,
if
that's true.
even if he does have dirt, if Zelensky has dirt on Biden, he's not incentivized to give it.
Well,
But now he
yeah.
wants Trump's favor. So
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like things could definitely change.
yeah,
So
just because people are looking for the smoking gun and haven't found it, that's not enough for me to think, okay, there is no smoking gun.
no, obviously there's always a possibility. I'm just
Yeah.
the fact that it's just no one's found anything to me makes it more skeptical.
Well,
It could still be out there. Who knows? But
if there is a smoking gun in these kinds of political situations, a lot of people, they hang on to it because they are like, this is this is something I may need one day.
Right,
But you don't
right.
want it to come to light until you need it. So
That's true.
and when you're in a situation where you're like, okay, I can compile the smoking gun and have it for a rainy day, I think people are incentivized to do that. And so if there is any corruption with Hunter Biden and Joe Biden, there is definitely, I would say there probably is definitely a smoking gun out there that's just hidden away somewhere.
Yeah, obviously, if there was corruption, the evidence exists. Sure.
Right. Yeah.
While you ask me that, what they've done to me with weaponization is a disgrace.
We'll get to some of that.
No,
sir.
wait. You can't do one without the other. In the history of our country, nothing like this has ever happened. And I've won these cases. I've won every one, and the rest are in the process of being won. Deranged Jack Smith is on his way back to The Hague, where he can execute people. This is where he should have stayed. I think he's dangerous even being there. But I'll tell you what they've done to me in terms of weaponization, indictments, impeachments, and everything else. And in the end, it probably helped me because I got the biggest vote, the most votes any Republican's ever gotten in history.
Pam Bondi talks about investigating the investigators. Do you want her to investigate Jack Smith?
I want her to do what she wants to do.
Do you want to see Jack Smith investigate?
Well, I think he's very corrupt, but I want her to do whatever she has to do.
Are you going to direct her
No,
to
I'm not.
prosecute
I'm not.
Jack
She's
Smith?
a very smart person. She was a great attorney general.
Why would anyone answer that question? Yes, I am going to direct her to go
I know,
after
yeah,
this guy.
obviously no one's going to say yes. No.
Yeah.
In Florida.
ask,
She's
though.
very experienced. I want her to do what she wants to do. I'm not going to instruct her to do it now.
Sir, are you going to fire?
Wouldn't you ask something like, are you going to be in regular contact with her? Something.
Ooh,
like,
yeah, right. Like
Yeah.
updating on the case. Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah.
point.
Because that would be, yeah, I think you get more out of them that way.
A sneakier way to ask the same question.
Yeah. As a journalist, you have to be sneaky.
The current FBI director, Christopher Wray, who you appointed?
Well, I can't say I'm thrilled with him. He invaded my home. I'm suing the country over it. He invaded Mar-a-Lago. I'm very unhappy with the things he's done. And crime is at an all-time high. Migrants are pouring into the country that are from.
It's funny because like Christopher Wray essentially told the Biden administration that he wasn't going to do it. I think they actually had to. I'm trying to remember. he really didn't want to do it, and they basically forced him, or I think he basically, if I'm trying to remember correctly, he washed his hands of it, and like whoever the deputy was did it essentially. He's like, I refuse to do this. It's gonna make that guy look too bad.
Right. Well, he was right.
He was
He's
right.
totally right.
Trump's like, I don't give a fuck.
From prisons and from mental institutions, as we've discussed. I can't say I'm thrilled. I don't want to be Joe Biden and give you an answer and then do the exact opposite.
We're going to talk about
so
that,
I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to say is I certainly cannot be happy with him. You take a look at what's happened. And then when I was shot in the ear, he said, oh, maybe it was shrapnel. Where's the shrapnel coming from? Is it coming from heaven? I don't think so. So we need somebody to straighten. I have a lot of respect for the FBI, but the FBI's respect has gone way down over the last number of years.
Don't you have to fire him in order to make room for Kash Patel if he is in fact confirmed?
Well, I mean, it would sort of seem pretty obvious that if Kash gets in, he's going to be taking somebody's place, right? And somebody is the man that you're talking about.
Okay, let's talk about Project 2025. This is the conservative policy blueprint. You disavowed it during the campaign. You called it a product of the radical right. You've said some of their ideas were abysmal.
I said some of it is. Some of it is very good. Some of it's very mainstream, actually. Frankly, the Democrats should have used some of it.
Well, that's interesting. This is the first time I've heard him defend Project 2025. Wow. It's kind of an interesting walk back. Okay.
Of it because they went, with all the transgender that they were doing and with the men playing in women's sports, if they wouldn't have done that, maybe they would have done better.
Well, so you take me to my question. You're now giving people involved in Project 2025 prominent roles in your administration. Are you changing your mind about Project 2025? No. Is this now the policy blueprint for the second Trump administration?
No, some people...
This looks like this just came out. Christopher Wray announces plans to resign as Trump forges ahead. FBI Director Christopher Wray to step down before Trump takes office. Live update 8 minutes ago. FBI Director Christopher Wray is to resign following Trump nomination of Patel. Okay.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. So,
Well, I guess, obviously the conversation was, do you want to resign or you want to be fired?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll resign. So.
Wow.
Interesting. There you go.
I wonder if it was based on this interview or...
I'm sure they've been having conversations behind the scenes.
Yeah. How do you want to go out? So Trump nominated this guy. This was Trump's guy at one time, right?
Yeah. Yep.
But he made the mistake of talking about the assassination attempt in not so glorifying terms.
If I recall correctly, he just said that he didn't know what it was. That's all he said. He said he didn't have information on the exact thing. So I don't think it was that. I think it was the fact that I think it was a Mar-a-Lago thing, and I think it was the fact that he just didn't have Trump's back on the election fraud claims.
Right.
And he knows that he's not going to go after people. I mean, that's the real thing.
Right. Yeah. He doesn't want to be pressured. That's got to be an uncomfortable situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, listening. Oh, I'm not going to tell him to do anything. Christopher Wray sitting at home going, oh, fuck. Like,
yeah, of course.
He's like, I don't believe that.
Right.
Maybe he will. Who knows? I guess we'll find out. Look, that's a mystery. That's the mystery for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
When will we know we're out of the woods? February? March? April?
For the January 20th, 2028.
Well, no, if he doesn't go after anyone, like if he starts going after people immediately, we know we're not out of the woods, right?
Yeah, I think you would, if there's nothing in the first year.
Yeah.
Then I think
we're out of the woods. Okay.
Right, then you're out of the woods. Yes.
Look, year. I mean, if he goes 6 months without going after anyone, I think we're probably out of the woods.
I'm going to say first year is like the cutoff point.
I'm going to say 2 weeks.
Wow, look at that. Okay, interesting.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'm thinking back to the assassination attempt, and like, he did last at least a few days, right? He was on the Unity train for a few days.
For like a whole few days, yeah.
But this is completely different. I mean, we talked about the assassination thing being some sort of transformational, as in, the big man upstairs is looking out for me. It could have gone completely differently. It could have been the end of his life.
Right.
That's one level, but this is like, I mean, this is much bigger. This is his place is in history as the 2-term non-consecutive president.
Mm-hmm.
And he's thinking, I want FDR. I want to be there next to FDR and Lincoln and George Washington. So,
I don't know.
and
It
the
depends how much
going
is
after people is going to fuck
Mhm.
that up tremendously.
I mean, I agree. Just I'm not optimistic when it seems like his children are having an outsized influence on the some around.
Hmm.
And they seem to be completely brain rot on internet politics, which is revenge, revenge, revenge.
Don Jr., you're thinking is going to
Yeah.
be like, he's the one that's going to be on the phone with Kash Patel, every day, every morning,
Yes. Yeah.
going through the daily brief.
Yep.
Ugh. I hope you're wrong
We'll see.
for more reasons than one.
Well, I mean, listen, I hope I'm wrong too.
Mostly so I can rub it in, but also for the country.
For the sake of the country, I hope I'm wrong. Yes.
Yeah.
If you take a look at the group, it was hundreds of people were involved. And I was actually, I reprimanded the whole group. I said, you shouldn't have placed this document in front of the voters because I have nothing to do with it and I'm the one that's running. You had no right to do this where you put a 1,000-page document in front, and many of those things I disagree with. Now, many of those things I happen to agree with. Many of those things Democrats should have agreed to, and I think they would have done much better in the election because they got slaughtered.
Well, I guess people see the list: Russ Vought, Brendan Carr, Peter Navarro, John Ratcliffe, Pete Hoekstra, Monica Crowley, and they think these are all the people who were involved in or writing Project 2025. This must be a blueprint for work requirements, eliminating the Head Start program, criminalizing pornography. Is that what we can expect
Well, I
to
don't
see?
know how they voted. I don't know. I never spoke to them actually about it, and I purposely, and I told you, normally it would be just the opposite. I'd review every page. I purposely didn't even want to see it because when somebody like you asked me a question about Project 2025, I can honestly say I've never seen it. I have nothing to do with it. I didn't read it, but I did hear some things in there that I would totally disagree with. And I said to the people that were really the people behind it, you know who those people are? I said, you really had no right doing this to me because they used it as a soundbite, the Democrats. And I don't know, it couldn't have been too effective because they got slaughtered, but they did use it as a soundbite.
But the people who see, oh, he's bringing in all of these people from Project 2025, he must know what it is.
Well,
you say what?
I don't know what it is. No, I don't know what it is.
You still don't know
but
what
I
it is?
heard
All these
certain
people
things
are
that I
coming
didn't
in for
like.
your-
And by the way, I heard certain things that are phenomenal. Okay?
Like what?
Like law and order. We want law and order. Okay? Little things like let's put prisoners in jail. Let's not let people come out and raid every drugstore in Manhattan so that we have to put glass up and every store is going out of business.
Let me ask you about something you've referenced a couple of times in this interview.
That was a good question. That was a very good question. What part of it do you like? And then the answer is very, very generic, very vague. Law and order.
Law and order.
Yes, law and order. Let's put people in jail. Oh, okay, really? Okay, thank you.
Do you have another
I-
timestamp or?
I haven't seen this part yet, so
Oh, okay.
this is where
Uncharted territory.
asked you
here.
last time
Uncharted.
we sat down for an interview if you were going to pardon yourself. You said no. But now that President Biden has pardoned his son, Hunter, are you reconsidering? Might you
Ooh.
pardon yourself?
Ooh,
I didn't do anything wrong. I was given the option. And the lawyers told me, very specifically, I don't have to go into who, but very high up in the administration said, sir, if you pardon yourself, you're going to look guilty. And you did nothing wrong. Oh, I had that option. I could have saved myself a lot of legal fees. But it turned out that I was right. Look at
bet he
what's going
wishes
on.
he did.
Everything's being dropped. I still
No, he doesn't. Come on.
of course he does. What do you mean?
No, he doesn't want to. Nixon.
Well,
he
I guess
doesn't wanna
not,
be
'cause
compared to Nixon. Come on
I guess not, because since he won, and you could say, well, I guess the cases against him, maybe helped him win. So I guess yeah, probably not
now.
retroactive.
If Biden
Retrospectively.
pardons himself,
That's gonna
Oh,
look
God.
fucking. Okay, that will look real bad.
Oh,
You'll be like, wait a
my
minute, what's going on
God.
here?
yeah.
Yeah, right. That look real
Look,
bad.
you don't want to receive a pardon as president. Like immediately, the comparison to Nixon is there.
Right.
Yeah.
Of
You do
course.
not want that.
Nope.
It's like I could have saved myself a bunch of legal fees. It ain't worth it. Trump is all about his legacy. He's working on his legacy.
His legacy and his legal fees.
God, he would fucking love to see Ivanka Trump be the first female president. Oh my God, that would be so.
I don't
That
think
would be
she's
so
interested.
good for him. I know, and it's probably driving him crazy. Like, what the fuck, Ivanka? He wants it.
still have a Fani Willis, a total hoax. That's a total hoax. It's all being dropped. It's all been discredited. It's been dropped. There are those people that say, and this would be the first time in history, that all of those fake indictments, they were going after a political opponent. There are those that say that I actually did better in the election because of it. Now, that would be a first. I think you would agree, because normally that's like you go back to the microphones, you say, I'm leaving right now. I will leave office. I'm going back to my family, and I will fight for my name. Well, I had to fight for my name in public because I didn't leave office. But no, I didn't want to pardon, and I didn't want to pardon myself. I had the option to pardon myself.
And you don't want one now? You're not going to pardon yourself now?
What do I need one for? First of all, I've won almost all of the cases.
What if President
Biden... that I
Biden...
didn't win are on resuscitation.
What if President Biden offered you a pardon? Would you accept it?
I've never even thought about it. I don't think he'll do it. Look, if he did, he's the one that started this whole thing. He got the Justice Department to go after me. And the state cases are all being run by the Justice Department, which is illegal. Ooh. They had their people from the Justice Department work for Alvin Bragg in order to get something going. They worked for Letitia James in the state. He had his people go from the federal government and take lesser jobs in the state in order to get Donald
And you know
Trump.
he denies he had anything to do with it.
No,
and
you can't deny it. You know why?
Yeah.
Because they were there. Wait a minute. Wait. You know, you have a tendency to sort of like slough over things. You just made a statement. His person, the top, maybe the third or second or third person, left the federal government, the DOJ, and went to work for Letitia James. And then, after they got that one started, went to work for the DA.
Let me ask you about some of this new reporting. NBC News is reporting that President Biden is considering giving preemptive pardons to the likes of Liz Cheney, Adam Schiff, and Anthony Fauci. If President Biden doesn't issue those pardons, do you think they are going to wish that he had? Are they going to be pursued?
I can tell you this about Cheney, and she's a so-called Republican. I think she hurt the Democrats terribly. When I saw that Kamala put Cheney out on the campaign trail, I said, that's the end of Kamala. I really did. I thought it was a terrible move, especially if you're a Democrat. But Cheney did something that's inexcusable, along with Thompson and the people on the Unselect Committee of political thugs and, you know, creeps. So the Unselect Committee went through a year and a half of testimony. Wait. They deleted and destroyed all evidence of that they found. You know why? Because Nancy Pelosi was guilty. Nancy Pelosi turned down 10,000 troops. You wouldn't have had a J6 because other people were guilty. The people that said that I attacked 2 Secret Service agents in a car. I grabbed one around the neck. I was then rebuffed, and I grabbed the other one. These are 2 of the toughest men anywhere on the planet. They happen to be slightly younger than me, maybe, you know, just a little bit. Let me just tell you. They testified. They said it was total and all.
Why did they beep out the... He says bullshit.
Because it was on national news.
Meet the press?
On NBC. Yeah.
Can't say bullshit?
They can't. You can't
He
curse
should've said
on
BS.
All of this stuff
not cable. Well, the whole, I don't like. I understand if he's going to attack someone that he thinks was on the January 6th committee, and he's accusing them of, you know, removing something from the report or whatever. I'm not sure I understand his fixation with Nancy Pelosi, because I don't believe she was on that. Maybe he's just really mad that she like ripped up the speech behind him that one time.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You want me to bring up the clip? You want me to bring up
he never
the
got
clip?
over the ripping up of the speech.
The ripping up of the speech was fucking brutal. Are you kidding me?
Was it really? Everyone says that. I don't like you say that. Sammy's really like says that. I don't know. When I saw it at the time, I just thought it was like some very cheap, cringe political thing. But
so childish. So childish.
It was.
Oh my God.
It was. And she gives like that alligator clap afterwards. And I was just like, oh, it's cringe. But
yeah, totally.
Oh.
She should be in jail for that. No, I'm kidding, obviously.
Right.
Yeah. Look, but he's never going to forget that, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
It is giantly disrespectful.
Of course.
And that's the thing. Like, a lot of this runs on respect. I was fascinated in the SCOTUS thing that we listened to, because they constantly are saying, you know, my friends on the other side, my friends on the other side.
Right, yeah.
Which I think, I mean, it helps. It definitely helps.
Mm-hmm.
It's
even
help.
if it's not true.
Yeah, even if it's not true. Even if it is not true.
Exactly. I agree.
It shows a sort of an avatar of behavior that I think is helpful. It is helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So then I mean, that's more of what we need and less of this, you know, Kyle Kalinske saying we should murder people in the streets, right? Like,
yeah, I would agree with that. Yes.
Yeah, more towards my friends on the other side, less
murder. Yeah.
Yeah, less. It's okay to gun down people.
Yeah. Okay. I agree. I'm on board.
People lied so badly. Now, listen, this was a committee, a big deal. They lied. And what did they do? They deleted and destroyed a whole year and a half worth of testimony. Do you know that I think those people committed a major crime.
Sir?
And
Did they destroy the testimony that exonerated Trump? Is that the problem?
So there was things that were this is my understanding. There was this claim that Trump made where he said, and I think it's actually was shown to be probably true, was that he told the January 6th committee, or other people, I should say, testified to the January 6th committee, that Donald Trump did say that before January 6th, he wanted, the 10,000 troops there, the 10,000 National Guard, and he offered that, and that they turned him down, which is true. Now, he wanted it because he thought that there was going to be a bunch of Antifa people attacking the Trump people. But regardless, obviously, if there had been 10,000 National Guard troops, then the people never would have been able to reach the Capitol, presumably.
Yeah.
Or even if they had, they would have been, swiftly repelled. And so, supposedly, some amount of this testimony that people gave to the January 6th committee was left out of the January 6th committee report. This is the accusation. Now, in the January 6th committee report, there are two instances where this is brought up. One of them is in a footnote, so you could say it's kind of like well hidden, and one of them is also like deep in the report somewhere, kind of in an offhanded way. It's definitely not like in the beginning. It's definitely like it seems like they were definitely trying to kind of hide that in the January 6th report. Now, since it's in there, I don't know if you would be effective at going after them criminally because they say, well, listen, we put it in there, even if it's in some blast page or on a footnote or whatever, it's, still in the report somewhere. So that might provide them enough cover. And also, I don't know what the legality is actually for any of these congressional reports. I don't know if they just do they have full discretion to include whatever they want in the report? I don't know the answer to that question.
Well,
it's obviously immoral. I don't know if it's illegal. But
we listened to the January 6th stuff, and they had a really attractive young woman come out and give this testimony that was secondhand testimony about what happened in they call it the Beast, the car that they drive Trump around in, the SUV. And did they take testimony from the actual people that were in the SUV and they didn't play it? Because immediately that's what I was thinking. I'm like, well, why didn't they talk to the people that were actually in the car? So that's pretty damning. It's like, we're going to put up this woman.
Right. You're talking about Cassidy Hutchinson.
Yeah. Who's giving secondhand information from supposedly someone that was in the car that talked to her after the fact. And you're not just talking to the people who were actually in the car, Secret Service people.
Right.
But Trump is making it sound like they did testify, and they said none of that ever happened, but they didn't play it.
I don't know the answer to that because I remember at the time, this is like 2 years ago, the time this was all going on, there was, this back and forth about whether they would testify or not.
Yeah, we talked about whether or not they could because they're Secret Service and there's like executive privilege and all that stuff. But if they did actually testify, and they have that videotape, or they destroyed that videotape, then there's some teeth in Trump's accusation and the accusation more broadly that it's just a show trial, right?
So I found this is from 2 years ago. It says the United States Secret Service has been cooperating with the Select Committee since its inception in 2021 and will continue to do so, including by responding on the record to the committee regarding the new allegations surfaced in today's testimony. So, it seems like they did agree to that, or they did agree to testify. I found an article from 2024 where it says the driver says Trump did not lunge for the wheel on January 6th. So I guess they did. I don't know if this was left out of some kind of January 6th report or not, but.
Cool. Someone in the chat is spamming that Brianna Greyjoy is on Piers Morgan, but that'd be fun. Don't time them out. Just, it's good that we want to know. Don't spam in the chat, obviously, but
right.
Let him back. Let him back in, and thank you for letting us know, Evan Erickson. So
This is from March 11th of this year. It says the GOP-led subcommittee is investigating the committee that probed the January 6th attack. Released a report revealing the driver of the beast said former President Donald Trump did not lunge at him the day of the Capitol riot. The committee, led by Representative Barry Loudermilk, what a name, questioned why the January 6th committee had not interviewed the Secret Service agent driving the vehicle when Trump allegedly lunged for the wheel until after his lawyer broached the idea. I mean, that definitely shows, the political nature of the thing. They're not going to interview the person. Like, why would you not ask the person the question unless you think that he's not going to answer the way you want? So, definitely makes them look really bad. The lawyer asked that the driver be interviewed after Hutchinson made the accusations about Trump lunging. Oh, well, no, I mean, well, that seems obvious. Obviously, well,
of
they wouldn't ask
course, yeah,
beforehand until the accusation. Yeah.
cross-examination. Yeah.
Okay, maybe not. The driver then testified at January 6th committee that he specifically refuted the version of events as recounted by Hutchinson. The driver of the SUV testified that he did not see Trump reach nor never grab the steering wheel. I didn't see him, lunge to try to get into the front seat at all, according to a portion of the transcript of the report. The transcript of the full interview has not been released.
Yeah, why didn't they release that right after they got Cassie Hutchinson up there?
That's a good question, yeah. Let's see. It says House Republicans now obtain those interviews, which were only previously released in redacted forms. I guess, okay, and it says they claim Democrats use redactions to spin testimony. I mean, this is where you get, I don't know if this would be criminal, but it'd definitely be highly immoral. If the Republicans can show that the Democrats redacted things that were not for privacy purposes or secret purposes, but were just things that refuted their version of events on January 6th, I mean, that would make them look super fucking massively shitty.
Horrible. Yes.
Right. So I guess we'll find out. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. Wonder what Destiny's response to that will be.
Well, I mean, it doesn't detract from the any of the electors claim shit, but so he'll just hand wave it away.
No, but it'll be funny though.
But
It's just for fun. Just funny. It's funny, Sitch.
Well, it is funny because everyone's gonna say, "Ah, Trump's vindicated," even though he's not. That's what everyone always does in these situations. So,
Well, they did. Look, and we fully admitted while we were watching the January 6th stuff that there was a element of show trial to it. Obviously, it was for
all these
political...
congressional hearings are show trials.
Yeah, totally. That's it.
Purposes, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But we said, it's not like there's not interesting information in here. And I think the Cassidy Hutchinson stuff was like the least interesting stuff for us because it seemed patently like bullshit on its face. But that's the stuff the mainstream media ran with. Like they constantly ran with the Cassidy Hutchinson stuff because it was so salacious. And the stuff that we covered, like barely anybody covered because it was just fascinating.
No, you're right. And I'm glad you brought that up because, like even 2 years ago when we were covering this, we were like, okay, these Cassidy Hutchinson claims sound completely nonsensical.
Yeah, right? They do.
Yeah, I don't believe Trump tried to punch out a fucking Secret Service guy to grab the wheel or any of this ridiculous shit. It sounds completely nonsense. It's all secondhand information. And it's funny because we said at the time, and you're right, we were totally it was just so annoyed that the media focuses on this, whatever the most salacious claim is. Same thing like the Russian investigations, all the focus was on the P tape. Like they always hyper fixate on the salacious claim. And that's okay, but there's other claims here. Like we were watching all the lawyers talk about all the drama that was going on behind the scenes with, trying to force the Justice Department to release a statement that was filled with lies about finding voter fraud. And to me, we're like, wow, this is crazy. This is a crazy thing, but that doesn't really get reported on because everyone cares about the stupid Cassidy Hutchinson story, which is probably bullshit.
I know. So sad.
Yep.
But look, we were completely correct. We need points on the scoreboard for that.
We were.
And actually, all that stuff being total lies.
We were completely correct on that. We were both completely correct because I think we both had the position that we thought it was very unlikely that Trump planned or wanted people to breach the Capitol. That was some kind of plan. And we both said that even 2 years ago.
Oh yeah.
4 years ago.
Total
I don't think that happened. And
right.
Trump coming out wanting the 10,000 guards beforehand would, obviously seem to confirm that. So,
Yeah. So many people are just jaded against Trump. They can't see straight.
well, they wanted it to be like the most negative form of, events possible.
Yeah. Yeah. They have a stereotype in their head of Trump as just being like a greedy racist. They're
Right.
using the literal stereotype.
Well, I think it actually, it generally weakens these people's arguments because they if you go too far, you just reach a point of absurdity and people aren't going to believe you because you're like, okay, you're reaching so far on these accusations, right? It's just like, not, you're going to
Yeah.
lose the undecideds.
Definitely.
Cheney was behind it, and so was Benny Thompson and everybody on that committee. For what they did, honestly, they should go to jail.
So you think Liz Cheney should go to jail?
Okay, Sitch.
You
missed
feeling
this part.
How you feeling, Adam, about the going after people now?
For what they did, they should go to jail.
Yeah, how do you feel about it now?
Well, look. You yourself said what they did was immoral. I mean, you literally just said that.
I said, yeah, if they did what they're accused of, obviously it's immoral. Sure.
Yeah. Whether or not it's jail worthy, that's a completely different question, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if what they did was illegal.
I don't know.
Not good.
Look, I think anyone who worked at CNN and knew that they were lying about Trump on the fine people stuff, willfully deceiving the American public, I think those people should go to jail.
Well, that's you. If you could prove that, that's defamation. That'd be crime. I mean, it's not. I don't know if it's criminal or just a civil crime, but that is,
Yeah.
There's definitely damages there.
Whether or not it's illegal,
right?
Whether or not there's a specific law that they're breaking, I don't know that the January 6th committee broke any specific laws. So,
right.
But I'm just thinking in terms of like, where is my line for throwing people in jail? It's tough. The January 6th stuff is tough because it's not like Trump's hands are completely clean. Let's be honest.
Obviously, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it's not like that now. I mean, it's not like the Democrats' hands are completely clean. So
right.
It's now it's just evolved into a food fight.
Everyone's dirty.
Right. And look, should people be thrown in jail for food fights? Probably not. I don't know. I would feel more comfortable if Trump was going after people who were pushing the fine people hoax just because it's so detrimental to the country. So, but the January 6th stuff, I mean, it is detrimental to the country, but I mean, Trump had
his hands are very
exactly. Exactly.
Like, if it was a scenario where he was just completely innocent, we'd be in a different situation.
Of course, yeah.
But that's not the case. So
yeah, fucked up.
For what they did.
Everyone on the committee,
I think anybody that voted in favor.
Are you going to direct your FBI director and your attorney general?
Now she's like, look, I got him. I got him.
She shouldn't have interrupted. Wait, he was about to say something crazy.
So you think Liz Cheney should go to jail?
For what they did.
Everyone on the committee,
I think anybody that voted in favor.
Are you going to direct your FBI director?
He's about to say anyone that voted in favor of the committee should go to jail. That's what it sounded like he was about to say. And she fucking cut him off like a retard.
She totally fucked up.
Oh my God. He's supposed to say something crazy.
She's more interested in getting Kash Patel than Trump.
What a retard. He's about to say something like hyper incendiary. She fucked it all up.
I think they should be executed in the street.
Oh my God.
Director and your attorney general to send them to jail?
Not at all. I think that they'll have to look at that, but I'm going to focus on drill, baby, drill.
When you say that, it carries weight, though. You've tapped these people to lead the Justice Department and FBI.
They can do whatever they want.
Okay.
Biden can give him a pardon if he wants to, and maybe he should. Just remember.
Oh my God.
Wow. See, I didn't see this part. This is pretty spicy stuff.
The Sitch. Maybe he should pardon them. Look,
yeah,
he's basically saying he would be doing me a favor.
Right.
Look, because if Biden pardons them, it takes a huge headache off of Trump's plate by Like that constrains Kash Patel tremendously.
Like he
Unselect
doesn't need an
committee, a
excuse.
year and a
That's
half of
interesting.
Yeah, look, then he has an excuse not to go after him. Exactly.
Right. Very interesting.
sworn testimony. And after getting all of the testimony, they deleted it. Wait. And they destroyed almost everything. There's nothing left. It's unprecedented.
And they deny
If you
doing
do that in a civil case, you go to jail.
You know they deny doing that. And officials say that the order never
Trump is so fucking triggered. It's awesome.
I know. But to see,
He's
but
like, what?
the fact that he is so triggered on this, it does sort of make you think, this is where his headspace is at, right?
Yeah, he's rolling his eyes. I don't know. I don't know the story behind this, whether or not a lot of evidence was deleted or destroyed. So
Right.
I wonder if they tried to subpoena it and then they couldn't because it didn't exist. So, but look, if he's got access to the Secret Service guys, which I'm sure he does, and they said, look, we testified and said all this, and there's no record of that, then he does have some evidence it was destroyed, right?
We'll see.
came in for
They
the
put
National
out
Guard.
a
But
statement.
on January 6th, let me ask you this about January 6th. I think
Benny
you're going to want to
Thompson
answer
wrote
this.
in a statement that he has destroyed all evidence.
Let me ask you this about
It's
January
amazing.
6th.
I wish you could be you have such potential. If you could be just non-biased, you hurt yourself so badly. I'm telling you, they deleted and destroyed all the evidence. Everyone knows it. And you slough it off like it doesn't mean anything.
No, I'm just saying they deny it. That's all I'm saying.
Kristen, if I did it, you would be standing up in that chair shouting at me. And you know what I'd do? I'd say, you got me. They have done something so illegal. They have a committee sworn to, and because it was so bad, the only reason they did it is because the testimony turned out to be in favor of me. Like Secret Service testified and disputed everything. It made them into a bunch of liars. Not Secret Service, it made the people. They got rid of it because it made Nancy Pelosi, the mayor of D.C., so many people look like criminals. And I will tell you, it's illegal for them to delete and to destroy that evidence.
Let me ask you about January 6th.
Don't you love the little pep talk there? You such potential.
I
Such
know.
potential. If you could just be non-biased for 5 minutes. I mean, Trump sounds a little like you, Sitch. Look, just be non-biased. Just open up your mind, okay? Don't be biased.
So I was curious 'cause I'd not heard this claim before that Benny Thompson, who is a Democrat, had admitted that they destroyed the records, right? So I was very curious of this accusation here.
They ran out of space on their phone. They had to
Right.
delete it.
Of course. No, so I was looking into this because I am curious about this claim. So this stems from this letter from last July. He sent this letter to Loudermilk again. He said, I'm in receipt of your June 26, 2023 letter regarding the records of the bipartisan select committee to investigate the January 6th attack on the United States Capitol. So that means Loudermilk was like, give us the records. That's the response. Unlike many Republican members who failed to cooperate with the bipartisan select committee's investigation of the deadly U.S. Capitol attack, I will afford you the courtesy of a response. Look at this. Look at the you can
You're
taste
so
the bitchiness,
lucky.
right?
Yeah,
You can
you're
taste
so
the bitchiness,
lucky.
right?
I haven't responded to anybody, but since you asked.
Well, no, he's saying like, unlike the Republicans who failed to cooperate, we're better than.
Oh, okay.
Which is particularly important given your letter's significant factual errors. Oh my. At my direction, select committee staff worked in close coordination with the staff of the Committee of House Administration and all these other people, blah, 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 the National Archives and Record Administration, the government, in preparing the select committee's more than 1 million records for publication and archiving. Given the record's historic importance documented in January 6th insurrection, I am proud of the select committee's unprecedented transparency, such as the records collection associated with the final reports here at this website. As you note in your letter, Rule 7 of the Rules of House of Representatives requires committees to archive non-current official permanent records. To that end, the bipartisan select committee used an e-discovery platform, blah, 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 in consultation with blah, blah, blah. Permanent records were electronically archived and on file and delivered to the House clerk. I encourage you to carefully review the select committee's over 4 terabyte digital archive. Also,
4
as you note,
terabytes. Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot. Let's see. When the bipartisan select committee still had control over records under House rules. Vice Chair Liz Cheney and I sent letters to the White House Special Counsel, Department of Homeland Security regarding the Select Committee's loan of some then current material containing law enforcement sensitive operational details and private personnel information that, if released, could endanger the safety of witnesses. As indicated in the letters, the Select Committee wrote to those authorities seeking their assistance and guidance in the proper archiving of such select material to protect witness safety, national security, and to safeguard law enforcement operations.
Oh, so that's why they couldn't release it.
Well, they're saying there's some things that they could not release yet. I don't know if this has been done since then. The executive branch was still conducting its review of the material to provide appropriate archiving guidance at the time. The select committee dissolved. Accordingly, the select committee did not have, I guess they didn't. Accordingly, the select committee did not have the opportunity to properly archive the material with the rest of its records with the benefit of the executive branch's guidance to ensure witness safety, our national security, and law enforcement sensitive information. Because I agree that Congress must properly retain and archive committee records to maintain confidence in the American people, the letters transmitting the sensitive material were, contrary to your assertion, archived in several places, including the public GPO document repository, and intended to inform the Select Committee's successor on the ongoing executive branch review process when the Select Committee dissolved. At this time, only the Committee on House Administrations has the authority under House Resolution blah 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 to coordinate with the White House and DHS to arrange for the return of the records mentioned in those letters, along with the executive branch's archiving guidance. So it doesn't say it was destroyed. I mean, it says that there was
They're
some
waiting
information
for the executive branch to weigh in on what they can release. Is what it sounds like.
Which, I mean, I could understand the Biden administration dragging their feet if there's something in there they don't want anyone to see. Obviously, if Trump is the executive, that would, they'd have access to that information. So,
well, he's going to have access to it soon. So,
So, but I don't know what
I'm
he means
sure
when he
he's going to
says,
be releasing the Secret Service saying, "Oh, that's total bullshit."
But he said that Benny Johnson said he deleted stuff.
Right? Yeah. No.
Or he destroyed evidence. So he wrote a statement that he destroyed all the evidence. That's not what that statement said at all.
January 20th, they're going to release the Secret Service testimony. It's going to be in a video. Oh my God. Please, no. Let's not relitigate January 6th for 4 years.
Oh, wait. Okay, wait. There's a footnote here. There's a footnote. This is where this claim comes from. So it says, so the original statement was, as in your note in the letter, Rule 7 of the Rules of the House of Representatives requires committees to archive non-current official permanent records. Footnote 1. The footnote says, guidance from the office of the clerk states that a permanent record is material created or received by a person, family, or a public or private organization that is preserved because of its enduring value. The value stems from information it contains or the evidence it provides of the functions and responsibilities of the creator. This material created or received by a person, family, or public or private that is okay. Consistent with guidance from the office of the clerk and other authorities, the select committee did not archive temporary committee records that were not elevated by the committee's action, such as use in hearing or official publications, or those that did not further its investigative activities. Accordingly, and contrary to your letter's implication, the select committee was not obligated to archive all video recordings of transcribed interviews or depositions.
What?
That seems retarded. Yeah, wait, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Super suspicious.
That does seem
Can't
pretty
even
sus.
archive the transcript. I mean, that's nothing.
Oh, wait, hold on. It says select committee was not obligated to archive all video recordings of transcribed. Oh, I guess what he's saying is that, well,
oh, they have the transcripts.
They have the transcript, but they didn't necessarily keep the video recording
because the video looked bad.
Right. I thought at first,
God, this is like a star witness for Trump. Let's just keep the text.
That's
delete that file.
You should have to keep both, right? I mean, obviously, you should have to keep one, but you should probably have to keep both. That seems silly. They're like, listen, it's the government. We have too many terabytes of videos. Okay, we got to make some space on the hard drive. They need all the bits in the hard drive to, for the national debt. It takes up a lot of space. Based on guidance from House authorities, the Select Committee determined that the written transcripts provided by nonpartisan professional official reporters, which the witnesses and the Select Committee staff had opportunity to review for errata, were the official permanent records of transcribed interviews and depositions for the purposes of Rule 7. So I guess if this is what he's referring to, I guess they're saying that there was some video depositions that were not saved, even though the transcripts were saved. So.
Which So his claim is correct. They did delete files.
No, but his claim was that he said that he destroyed all evidence. That is not what he said.
Oh.
He did not say he
Well,
destroyed all
maybe he
evidence.
just meant all evidence that was vindicating of Trump.
Oh, of
Sounds
course,
like-
of course.
sounds
There
like
was an
that's what he
asterisk
meant.
there that he said under his breath. Yeah.
No, that's what he meant. Obviously.
Oh, okay. Obviously,
That's what Trump
he
meant.
Mm,
We can go
of
back and
course.
listen. Look, we'll listen very carefully here.
Okay,
Ready?
we'll listen. Yeah.
Thing. It made them into a bunch of liars, not Secret Service. It made the people. They got rid of it because it made Nancy Pelosi, the mayor of D.C., so many people look like criminals. And I will tell you, it's illegal for them to delete and to destroy that evidence.
Let me ask you about January.
So that's the evidence they're talking about. He's talking about all the evidence that made them look like liars and thieves.
Right. No, but before that, he said, because I have the transcript of this conversation up, he said, Benny said he destroyed all evidence.
Mm.
He did not say that at all.
January
He
6th
said he
in a
didn't
different
keep
capacity.
video.
Okay.
Okay.
I think you're going to want to answer this question. You promised to pardon those who attacked the Capitol on January 6th. Are you still vowing to follow through with that promise?
We're looking at it right now, most likely, yeah.
Well,
Those people have suffered long and hard, and there may be some exceptions to it. I have to look. But, if somebody was radical, crazy, there might be some people from Antifa there. I don't know, because those people seem to be in good shape. Whatever happened to Scaffold Man? You know who Scaffold Man was? He stood on a scaffold telling everybody to go and nothing happened to him. Whatever happened to Ray Epps? Now, I don't know anything about Ray Epps, but it was sort of strange the way he was talking. Where is he? What happened to him? Because the people that did very little, they arrested an old woman because I don't think she did anything. They don't even know what she did. These people have suffered. Their lives have been destroyed. And yet in Portland, where they burn down half the city, they burn it down all the time. It's like a routine occurrence. They don't do anything. They attack the courthouse, federal courthouse. They always say federal building. Okay. They destroyed the beautiful limestone exterior of the courthouse in Portland. They killed people in Portland. Seattle, people got killed in Seattle. Seattle, they took over a big chunk of the city. They took it over. They took the city away. Minneapolis, it looked like when they said this is a friendly protest, and yet over the poor slob from CNN, his shoulder, the entire city was burning down. It looked like World War II. Nothing happened. But wait, nothing happened. They took over the police station. They took over the police station in Minneapolis. They burned it down. Nothing happened to anybody. And yet these people have been in jail, and I hear that jail is a hellhole. They've done reports, and you would say that's true. They've done reports. This is the most disgusting, filthy place. These people are living in hell. And I think it's very unfair. Most likely, I'll do it very quickly.
Very quickly. Okay, but some of them, 169 of them, have pleaded guilty to assaulting police officers.
Because they had no choice.
900 pleaded guilty to other crimes. They're also going to be eligible for a pardon from you?
Listen, it's a very tough system. Do you know almost nobody? I saw people that didn't even go into the building and they were convicted. And you had the police saying, come on in, come on in. I mean, the police are saying, come on in, everybody, come on in. They had people, you have a lot of cameras. They don't want to release the tapes. They don't want to release the tapes.
So, but you're going to consider pardoning even those who've pleaded guilty to crimes, including assaulting police officers?
Well, sometimes they say, here's your choice.
You're not ruling it out.
Look, I know the system. The system's a very corrupt system. They say to a guy, you're going to go to jail for 2 years or for 30 years. And these guys are looking, their whole lives have been destroyed. For 2 years, they've been destroyed. But the system is a very nasty system.
Okay.
I'm going to look at everything. We're going to look at individual cases,
Okay.
But I'm going to be acting very quickly.
Within your first 100 days, first day?
First day.
First day.
Yeah, I'm looking first day.
Issue these pardons.
These people have been there, how long is it, 3 or 4 years?
Okay.
By the way, they've been in there for years. And they're in a filthy, disgusting place that shouldn't even be allowed to be open.
Let's talk about your cabinet picks. I know we started off talking about Pete Hegseth, but I just want to return to that very quickly. Have you gotten assurances?
Maybe we should move on to the super chats.
Yeah, we can do
I'm
that.
not sure there's anything.
I don't know what goes on the rest of this.
I said, whether it's First Lady or my children did such a good job, and they were treated very badly by the press and others. Ivanka was unbelievable what she did, and all she wanted to do is one thing: get people jobs. She could have been the UN secretary. I said to her, she would have been unbelievable. She's got the whole.
Here's where he's talking. This is why I was telling you about Ivanka. He wants Ivanka to be the first female president. Continually sings her praises. And she's like, no, Daddy, no, I don't want to.
Whole package for that, including right up there. She's as smart as she didn't want. She said, Daddy, I want to work on getting people jobs. She'd go to Walmart, she'd go to X such a. She produced millions of jobs for people. not glamorous. Most people didn't know she did it. And she was always being excoriated. And I said to my kids, don't come in. Don't come in. It's just...
You said to them, don't
I said to them, yeah.
But will you miss having them there? Will it feel different? They were your top advisors.
I'll tell you what, I'll miss them, and they're really competent. But I say, just go have fun, do your business, do whatever you want to do, but don't come in. Because no matter what they did such a great job. Although I have to say, Lara did a phenomenal job as the head of the Republican National Committee, along with Michael.
What will the First Lady's role be, do you think? Will she continue her Be Best campaign?
She's a very elegant First Lady.
Okay, we can do super chat.
Okay. Okay. Let's.
unless
No.
So what's your overall take? Where are we at in the Trump going after everyone
I mean,
storyline? What's
it
going on here?
looks like he wants to go after people. It
Just a
seems
January
pretty-
Select Committee.
I mean, it seems pretty open and shut to me. I don't know about you. Seems like he
Just
really
a
wants to go
January
after-
Select Committee.
Okay.
Because they lied and deleted files. So
Right.
isn't it? Don't they deserve it?
I mean, if they deserve to be exposed, definitely. If they were doing something shifty, they're doing some
Right.
shifty stuff.
Shifty Schiff stuff.
Right? Any shifty.
Adam
shifty
Schiff
stuff.
was on the Select Committee.
Right. So, I mean, I don't care if they look into it. As I always say, I want more information. But obviously, it's going to look bad if they're going after people on bullshit charges. So.
And when you say more information, you mean indictments. You mean like jail time, right?
No, I mean investigations.
Oh, okay.
Okay, investigate things, look into things. Right. So.
We'll see what happens.
We will see what occurs. JMac, thanks so much. Our surrogate father tagged JMac for $50. Says, what about a felony that prohibits one from carrying a firearm, which is another constitutional right? Could crossing illegally be made to bar one from citizenship? Speaking of hypotheticals, of course, I ain't no lawyer. That's Mr. Ubercross. I think the issue with that is that my understanding is that the Supreme Court has always upheld throughout the multi 200 plus years of America's existence that the Second Amendment does not mean that the government cannot regulate firearms to any capacity. And I believe there's special rules where if someone commits a crime, obviously they lose a lot of their rights. Normally the government does not have a right to keep you in a jail cell unless you commit a crime. So I'm not sure that would be comparable to birthright citizenship, which has been continually reaffirmed because there has been multiple court cases on that exact issue. So I think they could theoretically do it, but it would be overturning so much very, very solid, unquestioned precedents that I think it would end up looking pretty poorly. No, I mean,
they
maybe
could
they don't give
totally
a shit,
do it though.
They could totally do it. They could say they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But
They could say all of these other people got it wrong.
right.
Yeah. And it is, I mean, look, it's just an amendment, right? It's not in the actual Constitution. It's just the 14th
really? It's just
Amendment.
an amendment, huh? Just an
yeah, it
amendment.
was some well, when was the 14th Amendment even put in?
I don't know.
Look, it makes sense if you're in a young country and you don't want, like, you need people. You're like, holy shit, we got this whole empty country here. We need to fill it
If I
up.
recall
What do we
correctly,
do?
the 14th Amendment was made mostly I thought it was mostly like made post Civil War to like make sure that slaves were given citizenship.
Oh, really?
I believe that was like the primary intention. I could be wrong.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. So, but we could just say, we could change it. We could say, look, we're full now. Sorry. The party's full. The fire
I mean,
inspector's
you got to
been
change
by.
the amendment though. That's the problem. So
I don't think America's full yet anyway. I
No.
mean, I've driven around and I've seen like
you seen a lot of
empty
empty
fields and
space.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have.
Mm-hmm.
You go camping, you're like, man, there should be a city here.
Everywhere.
Where's
Adam drives around the country.
Starbucks?
Adam drives around the country and he's like, oh, look at all this like empty trees and shit. This is bullshit. Okay. There needs to be a Starbucks here and a strip mall and we just need more things everywhere. Right.
Yeah.
Just
Where's the gun shop?
Tired of seeing nothing. Okay. I want to see things. Okay. Get rid of all these trees.
Yeah.
Get them out
It
of
could
here.
be a Tesla dealership right here.
There you go. Exactly. Eric,
Bears.
I know. Who cares about bears? Except for the women who are choosing them. Eric Diota for 10 Canadian says Trump says U.S. is subsidizing Canada in this interview. The number he says is a trade deficit number. Oh, I guess we didn't get to that part yet, but pretty funny. Pretty stupid. Tom waiting for $2 says Hamlet 2 is on Max. It's the greatest movie ever. Hamlet 2?
They made a sequel to Hamlet?
Oh, it's a comedy. Okay. Never seen it. Maybe I'll check it out. RBGH fan for $5 says Marshall Blathers, Kyle, Daddy Bernie voted yes on funding to the Israeli government. That he used the G word to describe where his moral relativism at. I'm not sure I understand that.
Marshall Blathers is
Are you saying
Kyle?
Kyle Klinsky is a fan of Marshall Blathers and he voted to fund Israel recently? Oh, that he used the genocide to describe where his moral relativism. Oh, are you saying that? Okay. Are you saying that Kyle supports a politician who's voting in favor of the genocide? And so wouldn't he, by his logic, would he be in favor of that guy getting, taken out? Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Tom, why do you think so much for the $2? Kid Truck 91 for $10 says Sitch. Been watching a few of the animes you recommended lately. Dan to Dan, Undead Unluck, and Mob Psycho. Great recommends that have filled time between Fairy Tale and Eps. Got any more? I recommended Mashal. Mashal is definitely really good. Let's see. What else have I been watching? Nope, can't think of anything at the moment, but if I can, I'll let you know. Glad you enjoyed those recommended animes, though. Give me a number 012345679 for $5 says Midas Touch were all over my YouTube feed almost 2 years ago, but weirdly disappeared sometime earlier this year. Strange for a previous super PAC. They're a super PAC.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I started watching their stuff just to see if maybe we could cover some of it. There was a lot of sob festing on that channel after Trump won the election. So, yeah. They're all completely Trump derangement syndrome. Insane people. So, might be good to cover.
Oh, Dr. Stone's a good one, and Delicious in Dungeon. I like that one too. There you go. There's 2 more animes for you.
Look at you.
Dan Schneider for $5 says, does what Taylor Lorenz doing count as incitement, especially if someone copies Luigi and shoots another CEO? Same with other people who praised him. I think it does. I 100% think it does. I don't know what the criminal or civil statutes are on incitement, but I 100% think it does. I don't think anyone's going to get in trouble unless someone else does a crime like that and they can tie them to that person. I think that's the only way any of these people will stop or be held responsible for their ridiculous positions.
If Kash Patel goes after Taylor Lorenz, are you going to be upset?
No. Well, depends what is he going after her for? Depends what he goes after. I mean, I feel like she's definitely
for being a bitch
for legally for all the crazy shit she's done. So
how about for doxing people?
For doxing, yeah,
yeah,
go for it. I'll listen.
Incitement.
Taylor Lorenz is the freebie. I'll give you Taylor Lorenz. She'll just throw her out there, right?
Good job.
And crashed
again. JMac for $20.
Thank you, JMac.
I can speak from experience that several top-ranking military officers that I served under drank heavily. And that's the Air Force. Army is even worse.
Wow.
Oh, shit. Yeah, it seems like military guys are probably big drinkers, so.
Yeah, makes sense.
My granddad was all in the Air Force, and he was a big drinker. Huge drinker, so.
Mitch for $5 says, Sitch, I just finished season 1 of Code Geass. Oh, I am questions. I'm loving it, although that Yuffie scene made me angry. Is that what you're referring to? Yes. That is 100% where I stopped watching. Yes.
That's the one that destroyed it?
Yes.
When
Yeah.
the serendipitous thing completely ruined the entire plot.
Yes. Wow. You remember. Yeah. They finally
Yeah.
solved the conflict of the show. And then it's like, oh, whoops, plot device. Everything's bad again. I was like, oh, this is just trash.
That's the thing I hate. It's funny
Yeah.
how, like, pacing is lower on my hierarchy of importance, but it is like essential. So,
Well, the way that I think the reason is just like, okay, if if you're watching something and you're invested in the conflict and you're invested in how a character or characters will solve the conflict that's presented, like that's a big part of what
the
you're watching a show for,
resolution,
right?
of
The
course.
resolution, right?
Yeah.
Someone's got to get a cure. They have to save their family member. They have to run from the police. They have to do, whatever it is the show's about. And if when they're like about to solve that goal, or they do solve that goal, right? Now it's very common that the things will keep happening, obstacles will keep being presented that make it more difficult and make it more tricky. But if the character solves that goal, and then there's like a total ass pull that basically slaps them all the way back down to step one, and it comes out of nowhere, and it seems like a completely undeserved thing, like it's not something that's set up, it's just like a complete ass pull. Then it's like, oh well, then why am I watching? Because I know that the character's actions don't matter, because God, the writer, is just going to slap them back down if they get right themselves in the corner. They don't know how to proceed with the story.
Yeah. Yeah. It's bad. Anything just falls in their lap, or anything that just comes out of nowhere is definitely without any sort of setup
Mm-hmm.
or hint that it's any sort of foreshadowing. Yeah, I fucking hate that stuff,
Right,
obviously.
right.
Look, and it's a worse when you're in the third act. You're really looking for the resolution. You're trying to come up with ideas on what the resolution might be, and you get one of these ass pulls. You're like, what the fuck? I wrote a better
Yeah.
movie in my head than this movie actually ended.
Right. If you want to continue the conflict, I mean, just figure out a way to write in the story that seems natural, that's interesting, that opens more doors.
Well,
So, like,
don't resolve the A story. Like even in like long running series, the opening episode usually sets up an A story that never gets resolved in the whole series. Like
right,
once the
right, right.
resolution comes, the fucking show's over. The series is over, right?
Well, but even look at like using Game of Thrones as an example. You have some major plot changes throughout Game of Thrones. You have, in season one or book one with Ned, right at the end. And then you have in book three or season three with the Red Wedding, or season four. I don't remember what season was in the TV show. Book three, you have the Red Wedding thing, and it's like both those things when you first read or see them on TV, they almost come out of nowhere. They seem like big plot twists, like holy shit, and it's like crazy and it completely changes the story. But then if you like think about it and you actually like watch it carefully, you realize it's pretty like clear that these events are going to happen if you're looking for it. If you see all the signs, there's all these little signs showing you that this twist is going to come, or not really a twist, but like this giant like shift in the story is coming, and you and the characters just weren't paying close enough attention to read the signs exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You knew the Night King was going to get killed instantly by some
Okay, we
side
didn't know the Night
character.
King was going to get killed instantly by Arya. That is a not example of that.
I know that's a bad example.
bad
That's fucking-
example.
that is the ass pull example we're talking about.
That is the ass pull. Well, yeah, no, the last season of Game of Thrones is a good example of the ass pulls. You have Arya coming out of nowhere, killing the Ice King. You have Daenerys and company literally forgetting about the pirate navy and her dragon just
Oh
getting
yeah,
fucking blown away.
that was fucking horrendous.
And then they
Her
show like
completely abandoning her character through the entire fucking series
yes,
to like kill all the poor people. It's
killing
like,
all the poor
what?
people, total heel turn for no reason. You're like, holy shit. But yeah, I love that there's that interview with the authors, the writers in Game of Thrones TV show, and they're like, Daenerys kind of forgot about the Navy, and you're like, what? She just
Oh, that's sick.
forgot? Oh, what? Okay.
It's completely ruins a badass character too. You
I
built
know.
up a character that has such a strong moral compass that I mean, that's why people fall in love with characters. They're like, this person does the right thing even when it hurts them. And then all of a sudden you do shit like that.
Yeah, and like they sort of You know, it was dumb because they would always sort of show there's like this edge to Daenerys where you're like, okay, you know, she killed all the, you know, she crucified the masters, right? She crucified like 100 random masters.
Yeah, but she did it for the right
Right.
reasons.
I mean, did she?
I mean,
She
they
just
are the masters.
Yeah, but remember, like one of them is like, "Oh, you killed my father," who was like one of the big instruments in trying to make things like to get rid of slavery. You just like
It's a
randomly
little, it's
killed
a
100
little,
masters.
it's a little gray. It's a little
No,
gray
but
area.
that's the you're correct in terms of like she's coming from a place that you're like you understand the logic of, but then you know maybe she overreacts or does something that's too extreme. And then there was the whole thing in the previous.
Firebombing all of the innocent poor
I
people
know,
is just,
I agree
that's,
because that's the thing. You have the masters. You're like, okay, it's like a little bit like gray. You have the situation where she kills Sam's dad and brother, and you're like, okay, maybe that's a little like gray, even though they were kind of asking for it. And then it's like, okay, we go from like little bit to genocide Hitler. They're like, whoa, I feel like we missed some steps along this journey here.
yeah, the whole journey that they're setting up is like this magnanimous character, this great ruler.
Well, and they also
God,
totally
they fucked it up.
they fucked it up too because they made it too like simplistically stupid. Because it would have been more interesting, more questionable if it was more like Cersei was somehow concocted some plan to use the citizens as like a meat shield, essentially. And the only way for the war to end was for Daenerys to make this decision of like, am I gonna, am I gonna like just leave and fight another day, or am I going to just kill through like all these innocent people to get to Cersei, right? Like force her to make that kind of difficult, and would be, definitely precedent or prescient with what was going on with Israel and Gaza right now. Make Daenerys make that decision, and then people can argue about whether it was the right moral decision or not. But they didn't do that. She's like, no, just kill a
No.
bunch of innocent people for literally no fucking reason whatsoever.
Yeah, that's the stupid part.
So, and that's why everyone hated it. RBGH fan for $5 says, what's the difference between over-regulating and tariffs? The details are what's important. Does being anti-fossil fuel cause price to go up? Well, it depends because you're completely correct. A lot of these regulations do increase the prices of a lot of these, gas, a lot of these other things. I mean, look at California as a prime example. That's why gas is so expensive in California is all the crazy regulations. Because
Yeah, totally. It adds $1 a gallon to gas just
they
in
have some like
taxes.
crazy regulation in California where they can only sell gas that's been refined in a very specific process that no one else does, I believe, at least in America. And so, like gas
They have a summer
specifically.
blend and a winter blend. Yeah.
Ooh, oh, you have two.
So they have to
Okay.
retool their
Does
entire refinery twice a year to come up with the fucking.
does the
And
winter
I think
blend smell like Christmas trees or something? Like
I
what?
don't. Yeah, but that would be great. Like if
Yeah,
it smelled like pumpkin spice or
yeah,
something.
right.
No, it's and they this year they reversed it so they could do like the winter blend earlier or whatever
What's
because
the?
it's cheaper
I
because
say
of
interesting.
inflation. Yeah, they were. Yeah, I don't know what it
Mhm.
is. So
Right. So yeah,
probably
no.
some
So yeah,
pollution thing.
probably. But yeah, so yeah, definitely regulation can definitely increase price just the same as tariffs can. Bob the Hunt for $5 says, with how many people are praising him, do you think we'll get a copycat or another CEO will be shot? I think it's very likely to happen.
Yeah, totally. I was thinking of that same thing.
I mean, it wouldn't be surprising. It wouldn't be surprising. And there's a whole thing where
Yeah, not
now,
at all. Not at all. Copycat killers is what they're worried about. A lot of times they keep the specifics of the crime secret. Obviously, they can't in this case, but a
right,
lot of
right.
times they do because they're worried about copycat killers.
And now everyone's all into, I don't know if you've seen, everyone's all into numerology now because supposedly this guy hit a bunch of number 286s in like all of his actions or something.
Oh,
Know if
wow.
he's supposedly, I don't know, because I saw it, but then I also saw a Twitter note that was debunking it. Because people were saying, oh, 286 is like a denial of claims from a health insurance, but then there's like a Twitter note that said that that's not true. There's like a bunch of different numbers. So who knows? Bob the Hun for $5 says, with how many people are praising him? Oh, the one. Ryan Uhl for $10 says, the tariffs will increase prices of things for sure. If Trump tax cuts happen, though, it should negate a decent amount of that increase. However, I don't see his tax plan passing Congress.
Why wouldn't this tax plan pass?
I mean, he's going to control Congress. Yeah, I would imagine. So
And it's just the same tax cuts that we have now. Your taxes are going to go up in 2025 because the Trump tax cuts expire for a lot of people. So,
the poor's like
yeah.
me and you. Yeah. Our League for 2 hours says Hegseth is a great military advocate. Hooah! There you go.
Is
A
he?
long story,
Okay.
long story short, for $5 says negotiations break down regarding Dreamers because Republicans want anyone given amnesty to come off legal quota system number, but Dems don't want that. What does that mean?
I don't know what a legal quota system number is.
I guess I'm not sure what you mean by that. Do you mean there's like a specific number of
Immigrants
people
that we want
that are
per
like,
year or something.
yeah, right, and the Dreamers would be included in that?
Oh, I get it. So if we're letting 100,000 new people in a year, the Dreamers count towards that 100,000 people, and they're like, no, we want the 100,000 too.
Right. I mean, if Trump is president and there's a Republican Congress and they have a deal where they're going to allow the Dreamers to be citizens, and the only stipulation is that it just cuts into the quota number. If the Democrats don't take that deal, they're going to look fucking stupid. I think they're going to look real fucking bad if that's like what the fight is over. So,
And a lot of people will endorse it just because they don't want Trump to have the win either. This is the thing that sucks about politics.
mm-hmm.
I really like what Anna Kasparian is doing at the Young Turks, because I do think people need to be more focused on policy. There's a really good book that Stephen Michael Davis actually recommended to me. It's called Gradual. And it's a happy like it's one of these optimistic books, because if you look throughout history, a lot of stuff does get done once it reaches some sort of breaking point. I mean, we it's very difficult for us to think anything gets accomplished in Congress, and Congress is just constantly surrounded with gridlock and all that kind of stuff. But this, I think we're kind of close to maybe getting to the point where things can happen, important things can happen that need to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But and there have been other times in history where this has been the situation. Let's see,
Right.
Gradual: The Case for Incremental Change in a Radical Age by Greg Berman and Aubrey Fox. Yeah. Stephen Michael Davis recommended this book. It's super great. And it definitely makes a strong case against the types that are the accelerationists, the ones that are thinking, oh, we can only get things done if we break everything.
Mm-hmm.
Gives great examples too. Anyway,
J-Mac, our second father says for $20 says, so why did he have Breloom in his banner? Breloom is a mid-tier Pokemon, totally not banner worthy. It doesn't add up. Sitch puts on Tim foil hat. Listen, the 286 thing could be true. So if there's the killer Luigi.
he had a Pokemon in his banner.
He had a Pokemon in his banner. It was Breloom, and people pointed out, maybe this is what got people noticing in the first place, is that the Pokedex number for that Pokemon is 286. And so they're saying, oh, he's got the Pokemon. There was a claim that the McDonald's he got captured in, arrested in, I should say, was 286 miles away, though I saw something that said it wasn't actually. It was like 270, but maybe close enough, right? So who knows? As I say, I don't know. Was it
You want to
286
play the
true?
numerology.
It's
right?
fun. It's fun. I don't know if it makes a difference, but it's definitely fun. So
It's got to be 286.286 miles away.
right. I mean, there's like more weird like accusations about like there's a Bible verse, 28 Proverbs 28:6. There's someone that's making some weird claim about like I didn't really understand it. Something about like monopoly rules and like rolling dice. Somehow 286 means something. I didn't understand the whole argument. So I don't know. Who knows? People have fun with this stuff. So
Oh,
we'll see.
so bad.
Tom waiting for $5 says J-Mac is so pro-life he wants citizenship for anyone conceived on American soil. There you go. I like it. Zero for 16 months Says, I think we should do another round of name that Pokemon. Also, Rudyard said the right has a chance to cement their controls for the next 30 years. I think he's correct. Yeah. If Trump has a very good admit term and doesn't squander it doing stupid shit, they very well could. But we'll see.
I think Rudyard is also a fan of generation theory too, and generation
is.
theory definitely
He is, yeah.
plays into like there is going to be a winner of the culture war in the next 10 years. 2033 is supposedly when the next seculum begins.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I do think, I mean, we're positioned. If you had to guess now, who will win the culture war? Who would you guess? The conservatives or the progressives? Is it going to be radical trans activism for the next 80 years, or is it going to be a return to women's sports?
I don't think anyone's going to get a clean win, but I definitely think things are going to definitely go to the right.
Yeah.
So
I framed it that way just to make it obvious. Yeah,
I know
the
you did.
conservatives are going to win.
I
They're totally going to win.
So, and yeah, we should do the Pokemon thing. Everyone liked that.
We can do it.
So,
Sure.
Next
Name
time.
the Pokemon. This is where we come up with goofy names for the Pokemon and people try to guess what it is.
This is when I'd send you a picture of a Pokemon.
Right. And I would name it on the fly.
You would name it based on how it looked, and everyone had to guess what the fuck Pokemon you were even referring to.
Right.
So
it's fun. I like it.
I sent you one. Okay. We can do it.
Did you?
Now. I just sent you.
Let me have a look. Read some super chats. I got to come up with it. See if I can find one.
Come up with a name for this one.
That's the thing. You don't want to make it like too easy, right?
Right.
By just describing it.
Yeah, you want to kind of describe it, but you don't want it to just be like on the nose. So gotta give people a challenge.
Yes.
My Mon robot lies to me in bed for $5. Says, Sitch, thoughts on terror in resonance? I don't know what that means. Also, bucket seats are meant to keep you from shifting through curves, not for hours of upright sitting. Yeah, that's what. And I was watching a bunch of YouTube videos talking about why gamer chairs suck. Is that they're based off of racing car chairs, which are designed to restrict your movement because you don't want to like get thrown around while you're driving. They're like, why the fuck would you ever do this for sitting in like a chair on the computer? It's retarded. So doesn't make sense. Oh, Terran Resonance is an anime. I haven't seen it. Sammy in the chat says, never forget Adam called Rayquaza a garden serpent. That is true.
Was that a Pokemon?
That was like one of the legendary Pokemons.
That I named?
That you named, yeah.
Garden serpent?
Yes.
Funny, I don't even remember what that looked like.
Don't worry about it. Do you have a name for this one yet?
I'm going to go with Strapped Earth.
Strapped Earth. I like that. Strapped Earth.
There you go.
That makes it sound like it's like a... It is not this, but it makes it sound like in my mind, I see a Geodude with like a gun. It's like the Earth is strapped.
That's the trick of it, yeah.
I like that.
Throw a little misdirection in there.
Right. I like that. Strapped Earth. Like, you're like, I use, my Pokemon. Your Pokemon just pulls out a gun and shoots the other Pokemon in the face. Okay,
is there a Pokemon
that has a gun?
That has a gun? Is there any guns in the Pokemon universe?
I don't think so.
Projectile weapons?
I don't think so. Well, no, there's one that have projectiles, but they're like I don't think it has like a gun though, like a gun.
There should be a gun face Pokemon.
I'm pretty sure in Digimon there's a bunch of Digimon with guns and shit.
Oh, Digimon's like way better than Pokemon. So
yeah, there you go. No one's got it yet. You guys are not correct. No one's got it.
Look, I don't even know. I couldn't get it because I don't even know the name of this Pokemon.
No, the whole point, guys, is that you can't look at the image. You have to get it just from Adam's description. So.
Yeah.
Blastoise has a cannon on his back, but it shoots water. It doesn't shoot like bullets. So
Lame.
There's a water gun attack. So, Anonymous Coward for $5 says, so I think ditching the centrist label was a good idea considering we now have our first radical centrist terrorist. There you go.
Didn't we dodge a bullet there, Sitch?
We did. We did. Metaphorically.
A metaphorical bullet.
A metaphorical bullet, yeah. Mm-hmm. No one has got it yet. I probably shouldn't said strapped because that might have put the image in everyone's head. This Pokemon is not using a gun. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just how I thought of it. So think of it strapped in a different context, everybody.
He looks strapped up to me.
Oh, okay. Okay. I like that. It's a good name though. Strapped Earth. That's a good name. Fall for $2 says Trump is Jason Bourne. There you go.
He has amnesia about January 6th.
Right. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Oh, look at that. Our health's hurt. What's up for $2 says, who is Trump more like, Tywin or Bobby B? Or who? Oh, that's a good question. I would say Trump has the body of Tywin and the brain of Bobby B. Yes. The body of Tywin, but the brain of Bobby B. Does that make sense?
Tywin Lannister's the dad, right?
Yes, he's the Lannister. He's like an old man.
Yeah, but he has none of that Tywin.
No, he has none of that.
Tywin is definitely an authority.
So, yes.
Yeah. And Bobby B that's not a
that was the king.
Game of Thrones person. Oh,
yeah, it was the king, the one that dies in the first season.
Oh, okay.
Robert Baratheon, big fat
guy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He's got some of the Robert mentality. That's why I say he's the body of Tywin.
More
he's Tywin's skinny, but I mean like the old, he's obviously got the fatness of Bobby B. So
way more Bobby B. He's got the personality type of Bobby B too. Bobby B was like, let's get the pussy, right? Grab him by the pussy.
Exactly.
Bobby, Bobby B said grab him by the pussy quite often.
Oh, you know it. You know it. And he, in fact, did do it many a times.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow, no one has got it yet in the chat. This is crazy.
Well, you're seeing it, so it's easy for you.
I'm just surprised. Usually people get it pretty quick. Mr. Millman for $2 says, if Biden pardons, then he can call them guilty forever. That is true. They will say that. He will 100% say that. So
he probably should pardon them.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. They said that.
Let me just throw that out there for you, Biden.
Thal for $5 says, you guys forget though, if you have immunity, you can't plead the fifth, meaning they can still get others. Yeah, I mean I think that's undetermined, right? I believe that has not yet to be tested. It's possible, but we'll see. Malik for 9 months says the 14th Amendment was passed because even though the 13th freed the slaves, it didn't make them citizens or give them the right to vote in any state. Oh, there you go.
So it's completely devoid of immigration. Like it's not even intended for immigration.
Well,
it's just like a loophole.
I doubt it. I'm assuming they're not stupid, right? There's a way they could have phrased it if they didn't want it to apply to people immigrating the country.
No, it's a loophole.
Okay.
Look, I don't know. Like if it's intended to give citizenship to ex-slaves, I mean, it's not specific.
No, but there's a way they could have phrased it if they wanted to just give citizenship to ex-slaves and not give it to someone immigrating the country who's born here.
Mm-hmm.
Or did I say their child was born here? Obviously. I mean, they worded it very specifically that way. Floki VT for $5 says, why is everyone talking about that guy who's drinking and disqualifying for service all of a sudden? Didn't we have 4 years of Kamala as VP? Like it. I like it. I like it.
Yeah. No, that's
look at that.
That hit. I like that joke. Obviously, yeah.
J-Mac, our second fire, thanks so much, Daddy J-Mac, for the $100. Look at that. Says,
wow,
thanks so much.
That's great.
Says, my daughter has been asking me about Dragon Ball Z, so I'll probably let her watch it next. Part of me is dreading a lot of the bloat, though. She really liked Mashal. She and my son quote it all the time. They're dirty dub watchers, although I guess she's excused for being 7.
Why? Look, what's wrong with dub watchers? Okay, you don't have to be
Mm,
7 years old to be a dub watcher.
right.
Oh my god, you
To
sound
answer the
so
chat, because people aren't getting it,
chapped.
it is. I'll answer. I'll give you guys a hint. It is lower. Wait, what is the number here? Someone asked, is it
Mhm.
lower or higher than 500 on the Pokedex? What number are you? It's
I mean,
higher.
it
It is
looks pretty
higher.
obscure.
It is higher than 500 on the Pokedex. Okay, higher than 500.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna make it harder for most of the old folks here. But no, yeah. At least, I mean, at least you can show your daughter. What is it called? DBZ Kai, right? They can. That's not as bad as normal DBZ, which was just dreadful. So I'm curious. I'm curious if they'll like it because I feel like Dragon Ball Z's pacing, especially compared to a lot of modern anime, is just so glacially slow that I don't know. Maybe they'll be bored by it. But at least if they watch it, they can watch. Well, I don't know. Abridged might be too adult for them, but they'll watch it someday and appreciate it. Flamenco TV, hey Flamenco, for $5 says Sitch is wrong. Oh my god, how dare you! People losing control of their Gios was set up twice with Mao and CC. By this point, Lelouch saying that was him confiding in her. No, I disagree. You're just wrong. You're just wrong. You're just 1,000,000,000% incorrect. But it's okay. Whatever makes you feel better. If you want to defend your shitty anime, okay?
Everyone loves this show. What's it called? Cloud Geass?
Code Geass.
Code Geass?
Yeah. You can check it out yourself if you want.
Is there a dirty, dirty dub?
Yeah.
I don't want to
Dub.
be. I don't like reading TV shows.
There is a dub. And there's an abridged, which is pretty funny too. But it's a
Oh, is
different
that
story.
shorter?
It's like a parody version.
Hmm.
Fondue for $2 says, reminder, people name their kids after Daenerys. Yeah, that's got to be the worst. That's got to be the worst. You name your kid after Daenerys like before the show ends, and then you're like, oh, that was a mistake.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
What
Why
a
did you name
mistake.
me? Why did you name me Daenerys?
You named me after
Mommy?
medieval Hitler. Why would you do
Yeah,
such a thing?
exactly.
Yes. Micro Omega for 32 months says, behold my awesome milestone. Behold. Thank you.
Yes.
Jay Hendricks for
32
$2.
months. Wow.
I know, look at that. Jay Hendricks for $2 says, is Sammy G's team the G-Force? I kind of like that. Is that Sammy? I don't believe that's Sammy G's team. Does Sammy G have a team officially?
Oh my God.
I kind of like the G-Force.
The G-Force? I mean,
Yeah.
is there anything else that begins with G that it could be?
Oh, no, I'm aware of the possible double entendre. Okay, that's part of what makes it funny to me. The G-Force. But I don't know. That's a potential name. I don't
Mm-hmm.
Sammy, did we have a name for your squad? I feel like we did. I don't
The
remember what it was
squad?
though. I feel like there was some name, but
Oh my God.
Death by Sloth for $2 says the Yuffie situation was that set up through Mao Sitch. No. Nope. Fake news. Ryan Uhl for $5 says Proverbs 28:6. Better is a poor man who walks in his integrity than a rich man who is crooked in his ways. Yeah, people were saying that that's, related because he had some back issue. So there's some sort of like back pun there.
Mm. Proverbs. Everyone is just going way.
They really liked the
Yeah.
28:6. So Alex Wright for $5 says, when will the tax cuts expire? He'll only have a 1-seat majority in the House until April 1st. Tough to pass major legislation with such a margin. I mean, I'm assuming well, I don't know, because the Democrats obviously they'll want to have the tax cuts be for the middle class people. So they wouldn't want to go against that. Though maybe they'll try to expire the tax cuts for the rich and the businesses and just extend it for the poor in the middles. So we'll see.
Yeah, that would be fine. If they want to make it more well balanced, and I don't know that Trump would not want to do that. So he wants anything with a tax cut on it. The corporate tax cut is in place. Like, it's not due to expire. So they don't have to worry about that.
Adam, give us more clues. Do you guys give up?
Oh, wow.
Hmm.
Wow. Look at this. Should we just show them or? Oh, they want more clues, huh?
I don't. How do you give him another clue?
You could.
Okay, I'll give you guys a clue. I could have swore I've seen people that have said the evolved form of the Pokemon, but not said the base form of the Pokemon. That is the correct one.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What's the evolved form look like?
Like if I tell you that, then you'll know the answer. Oh, what does it
Let
look
me
like?
guess. Yeah.
It looks kind of like a buff form of the one I showed you.
Of this?
Yeah. Here,
Oh,
I'll
this
show
is
you
like
what it looks.
the baby
That's the
form?
baby form. Yeah, here's the buff
Hmm.
form.
Interesting.
It is ground type. It is ground type, yes. J-Mac got it. J-Mac totally nailed it.
You
There you
finally
go.
got it.
Golett is the answer. Golett. Good job, everybody. Or good
All
job,
right, here he
J-Mac.
is.
He finally did it.
Here he is. Here's your
Yeah, I saw a bunch of
your
people say the
Pokemon.
evolved form of Golett. I didn't see anyone say Golett. See, because he's got the little backpack. That's why you said straps.
Yeah, he's
got the little
He's
backpack.
got straps around him.
Got little straps on
It
him.
looks like the Earth. The
There you go.
straps around it. Little
There you
Earth
go.
body there.
Good job. You win for that answer, J-Mac. You win an additional 100 free units of free will. Straight to you. Yeah, and you guessed
Nice.
Golurk first too. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, you correct. The Doug Trio with the Alolan hair is pretty amazing. That is a pretty awesome Pokemon. I am sad. Actually, no. I think I caught one in Pokemon Go, and I was very happy about it. Okay.
Oh yeah, I remember running around looking for the Pokemons. Got
Steve,
lots of screenshots of them.
Nice. Steve Sugars for $15 says the reason the culture war is a forever war is that the enemy is us. That is true. Flamenco TV for Joe says counterpoint Pokemon smash or pass with drinking. The problem with that is that Adam would just pass on all the Pokemon, so it wouldn't be very fun.
Smash or pass?
Yeah.
I guess that's whether or not, like, obviously this rock one is a child, so I don't know. Like
you're not gonna smash the rock child.
Yeah, no.
Are you saying
gross.
that you would fuck the the buff form of the rock Pokemon?
No,
that appeals to you?
obviously, yes. That's
Are you
not gonna
sure? I
happen
mean,
either.
I don't know. It's not a child.
I'm just saying one is dipping into like the pedophilia.
I mean, is it? Is there an age to these things? It's just.
Oh my God, you're going full short stack goblin, Sitch. Stop. Stop already. Here you go. Here. This is my face to this to this conversation. I brought up the I can't remember his name. The guy from the Piers Morgan clip. Lamont Hill. Anyway.
Adam has obviously never seen the Joker Lapunny meme. Okay. Adam, there's no laws against Pokemon, Batman. You can do whatever you want.
Ooh.
There may be a meme of the Joker trying to sexually assault a Pokemon. J-Mac for $50 says, can we play a new game based on Guess That Pokemon? Can we do Pokemon or PAL, where Adam has to guess which of the creatures shown as a Pokemon or a PAL from the totally not derivative game PAL World? If yes, I have 2 ready to DM you, Sitch.
Bring them up.
Sure.
I mean,
how's this going to work, though? Are you going to show it to everyone?
Aesthetic thing? It's more fun when everyone else can play, obviously.
Yeah, well, you would post them or send it to Adam, I guess. Send the pictures to Adam. Adam will post them up. And then Adam will not look at the chat, and he will have to determine whether they're Pokemons or pals. So
I never look at the chat anyway. So
there you go.
I officially can't see the chat right now because my chat is the on screen.
M8566 for $5 says, you guys got to do what Shu did. Pokemon Smash or Pass while on 420. Oh, Shu did one of those. I never saw that. I saw Markiplier, I
Are
think,
there?
in one.
Hold on, let's see.
Oh, you got
Sexy
the Mark Lamont Hill face.
Pokemon. I never
You're not gonna you really googling sexy Pokemon?
Pokemon. Is it Pokemon?
Pokemon,
Poke.
like
I
poke
always
and
say
then mon,
Pokey.
poke
There's
and
no.
then
I guess
mon.
there's no L in there.
Mm-hmm.
Pokemon. Yeah.
Pokemon.
Let's see. Are there any
I mean, if you type in sexy
smashable?
Pokemon, you're gonna find pictures people drew of them sexy. That's probably not how they actually look in the
Any
game.
smashable? Oh, this one's pretty hot.
Okay, which one? Show me. Which one's this? The sexy one.
It's just, I don't know if this is a real Pokemon though.
Which one?
So they're probably making the Pokemons more sexy than they actually are.
No, that's how it actually looks.
Mm-hmm.
Send me the picture. Let me see. Let me see the degeneracy you're looking at here. Adam
No,
discovers.
I got to bring it up, right?
Oh, got to get it up. Okay. JMac for $20. Thanks so much, JMac. Says Adam, there's no gun Pokemon, but there's a stealth bomber Pokemon that literally launches its babies. It's one of the better new Pokemons. There you go. I don't know which
Are
one. Which one's the
people?
stealth bomber Pokemon?
Is this game still in effect?
Power World?
No, Pokemon.
Yeah,
Pokemon.
they're still doing Pokemons.
Okay,
They're
I'm
still
gonna bring up.
doing the Pokemans.
So one of these is a Pokemon and one's a pal. Is that the situation here?
I don't know. I can't see it yet, but
Get
you
these
just have
other
to
ones.
guess which one's the Pokemon. Yeah, I guess so. I'm assuming one of them's Pokemon, one's a pal.
Okay, here we go. We've
Mm-hmm.
got one looks like kind of like the thing with
The
a
Thing. Oh, from
wearing,
Fantastic Four. I thought you meant from the horror movie. I was like, what?
yeah,
Right.
from Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his bathrobe on,
Right.
the thing in a bathrobe. And then
Mm-hmm.
we've got this other one who, this, I
So here's
think
my question to you, Adam. Which one of these was the one that you thought was sexy?
neither one, obviously. This is
You said, is it the one in the bathrobe? Because he's got the bathrobe. He's like ready to disrobe.
is that a Hitler mustache? Is that the thing with a Hitler mustache?
Is that a mustache or it's just like his nose? Like he has like a nose and eyebrows are all like one thing. Talk about a unibrow, nose brow. Okay, so
Okay. Okay, so what?
which was the hot one that you said was the hot one?
I didn't send you that one yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Send me. I want to see the hot one.
Okay. I'm gonna
Okay,
send it
which
to
one
you.
of these?
I'm gonna send it to you now.
Okay. Which one of these do you think is a Pokemon and which one do you think is a pal from Pal World? That's the question.
Yeah, I know. I've already determined that in my head, but I just haven't
Okay,
said
tell me the
yet.
answer.
I'm looking for the thing to send you the other one.
He's zipping up, everybody. That's what he's doing.
I'm working. I'm zipping up. Yeah, exactly. Here we go.
There you go.
I can't figure out what it is though. But I mean, it looks, it's got the right shape.
That's not a good sign.
What is
I don't
this
know what this
thing?
thing is, but it's the right shape.
Is
There
this
we go.
is this a Pokemon? I don't even know. I just Googled sexy Pokemon,
Oh, okay.
which there is a lot of stuff that I don't think are actually Pokemons.
Mm.
So
Mm.
how do you, what is the plural of Pokemon?
Pokemon.
Oh. Okay. Obviously, J-Mac is trying to trick me here. Okay. J-Mac knows that the bathroom guy is kind of more in the artistic style
Of
of
Hitler?
Pokemon and
Mhm.
Hitler. in a
Okay.
bathrobe.
Right.
And the other one, this blue salamander bunny looking thing,
Mm-hmm.
is more in like a 3D type, like
Oh,
it's in a
okay. I
video
see.
game
You're
or
using
something
meta
like that.
knowledge here. Right, right.
But I think he's trying to trick me. I think he is.
Oh, wow.
So he
Okay.
wants me to pick the thing Pokemon.
Because it's like a flat image as opposed to 3D
Yeah,
model. I got you.
exactly.
Right.
So I'm gonna say it's the opposite. I'm gonna say that the thing one
Mm-hmm.
is the one from the PALs, and the
Mm-hmm.
3D one, the salamander bunny thing, is the one from the Pokemon.
Well, the
And
answer
I
is,
am
Adam,
correct.
that you played yourself. You
Oh,
fool.
really?
You were correct. The flat image one was the Pokemon because of the Pokemon style, and the 3D was the Power World. You
Oh
totally
my
played
God.
yourself.
Oh,
Yes.
damn it. Damn
Oh.
it. So I
You,
should have just went with the art style then.
yes, you thought J-Mac was trying to trick you. Why would J-Mac is our surrogate father and a good man.
I
He would
know.
never attempt to use such low-brow deception on you. All right.
Okay. I should have just gone with my instinct then.
Yes.
All right. Why? I've never seen a Pokemon like that though.
That's a Pokemon.
That's got like a humanoid form like that.
Yeah, there's some
Well,
that have.
I guess the other one did. So
Yeah. There's some that do.
interesting.
I only know that guy because I caught him in my brief stint of playing Pokemon Go.
Mm-hmm.
Dramatically increased my Pokemon knowledge.
Oh,
Okay.
really? Wow.
You never sent me the picture.
Yeah, I did. What are you talking about?
Who did you send this sexy Pokemon to? Because it wasn't me.
Oh no, did I send it to someone else?
You sent it to Anna
I sent it
Kasparian.
to I sent it to J-Mac. That's hilarious.
You sent it to Anna Kasparian. You sent her a sexy Pokemon. She's like, what is this?
J-Mac knows. Just so look, J-Mac's a Pokemon expert. Is that a Pokemon, J-Mac, or is that what is that thing?
There you go.
Here, I guess I'll send it to you too.
Okay.
That's funny. Here we go. Put it in the right chat.
Okay, let's see. What did you send here? Oh, what the? What is this? I don't even know what this is. It looks like someone took a Jinx and a Lopunny and they combined them, and then they gave them like a more tits and hourglass figure. That's what it looks like.
Right.
I don't think that's an actual Pokemon.
Is it like a bird thing though?
Mm.
The face is confusing. I mean, it might be.
Those are
I mean,
lips, I
that's
think.
duck face, right?
Yeah, those are. I think it's supposed to be a Jinx and a Lopunny mixed together or something. That's what it looks like. You could bring it up and show everyone your degeneracy. But Chewbacca's lover for $5 says exclusively refer to him as the radical centrist terrorist from now on, or radical centrist shooter. That is his name from now on. There you go.
Why not just call him enlightened centrist shooter?
No, because there's
right?
nothing enlightened about that action. Oil King for $5 says, you guys plan on doing some camping next year as well as bingo card spreadsheet of what Trump should do and not do. Cheers. Favorite yogurt. I mean, we could. We didn't plan on doing that, but could be interesting.
What is camping?
Well, I don't know about that. Not camping. I meant the bingo card.
Mm-hmm. What Trump should do and not do. I mean,
Right.
I'm hoping he does something on healthcare. Everyone, it's funny that people keep bringing up healthcare. I mean, he didn't really run on healthcare, right? But I guess they're just bringing it up to hammer him on the repeal and replace of Obamacare.
Of course, because he had that bad answer, concept of the plan.
Look, and he keeps saying that Obamacare sucks. So
Right.
he needs to fix that.
As a lactose intolerant, I guess by default, my favorite yogurt would have to be So Delicious because it's one of the few ones I can actually eat. I used to love frozen yogurt back in the day.
What if he works on fixing healthcare as hard as he worked on stealing the 2020 election, Sitch?
That would be impressive. That'd be good.
Wouldn't that be great?
That'd be great. I'd be a big fan of that, yeah.
Look, and then I could say up yours to all those people who were hectoring me the whole time during the election.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember I said that his tenacity could be spun into a positive, and everyone
Right.
lost their fucking minds.
Mm-hmm.
And then look, if he did that, if his tenacity actually got us healthcare, they would have to admit that I was right. It'd be great.
Right.
I love it.
Floki VT for $5 says, before the 14th Amendment, states gave citizenship. 14th forced states to recognize natives and ex-slaves. It's unintendedly supposedly made citizens feds first. That's interesting. Flamenco TV for $2 says, Sitch is wrong and buys clothes at the soup store.
Really? I didn't even know you could buy clothes at the soup store. What store?
The soup store. Didn't you hear it? The
Wow.
soup store. Metalworks
That's a real
411
store.
90 for $2 says, why are you at the soup store? Fuck you. I will say
Is this like a soup Nazi reference or something?
No, so the best thing that came out of Code Geass is there's like a parody of it called Code Geass Abridged, and has one of the top tier internet joke memes that has to do with buying clothes at the soup store, which is very hilarious. So
all these are internet memes.
Yeah. You could just look up I'll send you a link. I'm gonna send Adam after the stream. I'm gonna send him the Joker Lapunny. And I'm gonna send him I'm at soup. The TF2 version, which is pretty good.
Oh my god, J-Mac sent me some more of these.
We'll do them later.
What?
Sketch for $2 says, fun fact, in lore, Galurk can turn into a cannon. Look at that. Joey Not Nice for $20. Thanks so much. Says, listen, guys, I'm a conservative. I believe in play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Play a game of trade people's health and well-beings for max profits, and congratulations, you win a prize delivered to Hamilton near you. I mean, I just vehemently disagree. You either believe in democracy and rule of law, or you do not. It's really that simple. To me, it's that simple. So,
right. Yeah.
Dan Schneider for $5 says, the shooter's lawyer is claiming it's not him, that they got the wrong guy. Their hero was a coward. He also pissed himself when they caught him. I hadn't heard that. That's interesting. So
I didn't know that could actually happen. I didn't know that was a thing.
That is interesting that they said they got the wrong guy. Really? I mean, he has like the gun and a manifesto. How's that even like, what is the argument? They have the wrong guy?
They planted it on him. You haven't seen that going around? The cop showed up with a backpack and they said, hey, you dropped your backpack. These are the Pokemon versus PAL.
J-Mac, why are you sending Adam whatever this thing is on the right? I feel like that's not a real Pokemon or PAL. That looks pretty suspect.
What do you mean?
That looks suspect to me. I don't know what that is. Okay. I don't even know. I don't know the answer to this one. Are these real? Or is this real? It looks pretty sus.
Well, look.
Yeah.
Now they both look 3D. So
okay. I don't know the answer though. So
what's J-Mac doing? There has to be some trickery going on because both of them are 3D-ish. So there's no.
Well, they have newer Pokemon
option.
games. They have newer Pokemon games that have like 3D modeled Pokemon. So.
Do they?
Yeah, they had for like the Switch and everything.
Oh. That makes it more difficult.
Would you smash either of these Pokemon, Adam?
I mean, I'd think about one. You know, maybe if I had too much to drink or something.
If you're a little drunk, you'd bang the ant guy with the gun because you like gun arms, right? He's got drills on his body. Okay, he's gonna drill you.
It's definitely that's an ant.
I mean, that's how I would describe him. He's got like the ant head.
I thought that was like a helmet that he's got.
It does look like
little eyes under the helmet.
It does look like a little helmet.
Rocket arms. It's Rocket Man.
It's Rocket Man. It's Kim
Jong. I'm gonna say Rocket Man is the Pokemon and the not safe for work. Whatever that is.
Yeah.
Is the PAL.
Okay.
Am I correct? Actually, did I get it right?
I don't know. I've not. Neither of these look familiar to me, so I don't know. Jim, I got this Chow Hop to tell us the answer to this question.
We had someone back the comic while we were streaming too, so I want to thank
Nice.
you
Thank you so much.
personally. Yes.
Ding, ding, ding. Does that mean that
Big-
Adam got it correct?
Oh, I did get it correct. Nice. Seemed obvious. Isn't Pokemon more family friendly? And obviously this PAL thing is like for all ages.
Yeah, yes, Pokemon is generally more family friendly. So
Okay. I
is it
did it.
actually? Wow, that's real. That's what the thing looks like in Power World. Jesus,
PAL World is definitely courting a more
the
adult friendly
furries.
audience.
They're like, They're like, what is this fucking thing? Jeez. But let's put a heart on its vagina. A heart sticker.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dan Stein for Joy says, also, I think he will be acquitted. Sorry to say. I don't think so. I do not believe that will happen at all. But we'll see. A lot of people are saying that. I just cannot see it. Do not see it.
Who's going to be acquitted?
The shooter.
Oh, yeah, no. Look at this. Sitch.
What?
Got to read this one with some gusto, the last super chat.
Mike
Always very
Assange for $5
important.
says A-Team reigns sup prepria EM. Forgot to list one event yesterday. 28 years later, trailer just dropped that morning. No, you can't avoid this one. Yeah, I saw they made a new 28 Days Later movie.
Did they really? 28
Yeah, I mean, I'm
years
assuming
later.
is that what 28 years later is? Is another sequel to that?
Hmm.
People were
It was
excited.
28 days, and what was the sequel? 28 months or something?
I think yeah, it was something like that. Yeah.
Right.
But has it
That
been
was a good
28
movie.
years since that movie? Jeez.
That was a great movie.
It's okay.
It was fantastic.
It was
People love
whatever.
that movie, Sitch.
I saw it once in
Whatever.
theaters and never saw it again because I was just like, whatever.
Sitch hated Shawshank Redemption.
What? Get out of here with these lies. Sulla for $2 says if it takes a while to explain to people what you mean by liberalism, how is that different than nationalism being hard to explain since they both have negative connotations, though not to the same degree?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's even a remotely good comparison because nationalism gained a negative association like 70 years ago because of World War One. It's not like liberalism has a negative connotation because people don't know what it is. It's a completely different thing. They think it's associated with like liberals. It's not like nationalism. I don't think that's a remotely good comparison. Like people know what nationalism means. There's a positive and a good context or in a negative context. They just mean it usually in the negative context. People just don't know what liberalism means. Sell it for $2 says hashtag free Luigi is dumb. It's like Adam's lolly argument. If he gets out and gets into an argument with someone, could be anything, he could kill that person because his inhibitions have been lowered. He's not just a danger to CEOs. I agree that it's dumb. I don't know what the lolly argument is, but
That we should have a taboo on lolly to keep people in line.
Oh, I gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. I do know. Okay, I understand. Selfridge says, do you think he would have gotten more sympathy with less bloodshed if he just live streamed himself walking up to the guy and kicked him in the nuts? Could they argue temporary insanity because of his back pain seems selfish? Well, obviously he would have gotten more sympathy because he wouldn't have killed somebody. So people would have just been like, it's a funny harassment prank thing. I mean, he still would have gone to jail for like assault, but
not for a long time though, right?
Yeah, but not for murder, right? He's going to go to jail forever now. So
right. Good nut prank would be good.
And in terms of inspiring copycats, I feel like that would have been more likely to inspire a copycat too. So
the whole kick him in the nuts crew.
Yeah, they'll call it the CEO crunch.
Oh yeah, look at that.
There it is.
It's like a variant of Punch a Nazi.
Yes. Solid for $2 says the congressional debate on the 14th Amendment acknowledged it applied to the children of immigrants, and they approved it anyways. They just didn't have a concept of illegal aliens. It was meant to codify English common law jus soili. Well, there you go. That answers that question. Look at that.
Look at that.
Coming through. Jus soili is Latin for right of soil. The legal principle that a person's citizenship is determined by the place of their birth. So there you go. So it's not a loophole, Adam.
I'm not sure if I'm down to change that, because I think there is this selective process going on where you're, making the barriers of entry hard, and you're getting the most motivated people to become American citizens. And that's a good thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bad thing. So,
Yes,
but there's
I
a
agree.
lot of people who are just like, I don't want anyone to become an American citizen.
Right.
We should just all be insular, right? No new
Mm-hmm.
blood. I mean, if we can pilfer the smartest, most tenacious, most hardworking 5% of all the nations around the world, not only do we get all of those human resources, we also deny all of those human resources from these shithole countries. And that's why they become shithole countries, right? Their best people are leaving.
Mm-hmm.
How's that not a good thing?
It is. It can be.
It is. Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So look, don't be racist.
Don't be racist. True. Slot for another $2 says economist Arthur Laffer, creator of the Laffer curve, says tariffs are okay as long as they're used as a negotiation tactic, i.e., not a permanent source of revenue, and doesn't lead to a long-term trade war. Yeah, I think I would agree with that completely. That makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah. Trump mentioned that. Trump called out Laffer in the signing of the healthcare transparency executive order.
Mm-hmm.
Evidently, Laffer was instrumental in putting that together for him. So, but I'm not a huge Laffer fan. So, but I do understand the concept of the Laffer curve, which I'm sure you do as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
you
I was
cut
born in Laffer curve.
taxes. Yeah. You cut taxes, and you get actually more revenue because the production shoots through the roof as people are allowed to keep more of their own money. I think
Right.
taxes should be lowered. I think middle class taxes are too high. I think we should focus on the production side of the equation. We should just make more products and services, right?
Mm-hmm.
There
Mm-hmm.
should be more doctors and lawyers. We should stop letting these Ivy League schools constrain our production by not giving out degrees to people. What's up? Sitch
Anyway,
has decided. Well, no, there's one more super chat. What are you doing?
J Macker Circuit Fire, thanks so much for the $20. Says sent you Lavender's. Oh my god, that's what it's called. Lavender's Paldex entry, Adam. Yeah, they definitely knew what they were doing, and they're definitely courting a certain crowd. I mean, they
The
called it
furries,
Lavender.
huh?
Yeah. Wow.
So they
Gross.
are. Pals is like, they're like, look, Pokemon, a lot of furries like Pokemon. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how can we sort of steal some of their audience away? Well, I know. We'll make a bunch of degenerate Pokemons.
There you go. Anything's
For
legal
fun
with
stuff.
a pal, Batman.
Ugh. Ugh. All right. This was fun. This was great. We got we're hopeful. We're all hopeful that Trump is going to be a good boy. Good boy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Right?
Anyway, thank you guys for coming. Thank you all for your incredibly generous donations. We had a lot of fun. And we'll see
Yes.
you probably tomorrow.
Yes. Take care, Mom. Bye.
Later.
Take care. Have a good day.
Okay.
All right.